congressman from Arizona, member of the Freedom Caucus, which will not be voting for this deal, this Ryan compromise.
And they didn't vote for Ryan as Speaker of the House, right? They
No, everybody
for
fell
Daniel.
in. Everybody fell in. That you had conservatives falling. Everybody fell in behind Paul Ryan. It was the obvious choice to make. They're going to propose amendments, but they don't hold up much hope that this is going to be anything than putting some parfum on a pig.
I'm one of the founding members of the Freedom Caucus, and we're going to be putting forth an amendment that our members support, which will deal with the funding of Planned Parenthood, which will deal with the Syrian refugee vetting, and a couple of other things. And I think after we, try to get our amendments approved and made in order at the Rules Committee, we'll see exactly how that process is going to play out. I don't have real high expectations for how this is going to play out. I think that we will probably pass an omnibus that, if not everybody, close to everybody in the Freedom Caucus will vote against, because it busted the spending caps, and it didn't include, I think, even the most basic fixes to our Syrian refugee vetting process.
Yeah, to that point, lawmakers and aides said the spending bill does not include any restrictions on the resettlement of Syrian and Iraqi refugees into the United States. It does limit certain travel privileges granted to citizens of 38 friendly foreign countries that are allowed to enter the U.S. without obtaining a visa. But on the refugee matter, all of that loose talk, all of the rhetoric about pressing the pause button seems to be out the window with what actually is included in this omnibus bill.
With the, Planned Parenthood segment, $500 million going to Planned Parenthood?
It's untouched. No nothing,
changes.
Because they wanted to avoid the temporary furlough of a small percentage of non-essential federal workers. That's what Washington, D.C. calls a government shutdown,
right,
when 85% of the federal government continues to be funded and the trajectory remains the same. And it's interesting, too. Think about what's happening in Illinois. Bruce Rauner standing up to Democrats and saying, no, I'm no budget deal. No budget deal. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. A budget deal in Illinois is a tax increase, so I'm not signing on without structural reforms. And you have the exact reverse at the federal level.
It's too bad Planned Parenthood didn't have a structural reform. We'll give you our tax dollars, but get out of the abortion business. I would have been fine with that. I mean, I still don't like giving them my tax dollars for abortions, but, at least if they got out of the abortion business, it would be an easier pill to swallow.
Well, right. Any kind of follow-up on all of the rhetoric about Planned Parenthood and trafficking in baby body parts and the gruesomeness of it all. Well, that was several months ago. Mm-hmm. So now, after we've all said our piece, we've all been recorded as having been outraged, now we can go ahead and return to normal business and fund Planned Parenthood as we normally would and, turn a few dials and pull a few levers. And essentially, this unwieldy, unfinanceable federal government continues on its current trajectory. And this is really the Illinois kleptocracy governance model scale to the national level. President Obama obviously bears the brunt of the blame, but a Republican majorities, plural, in Congress who have the power of the purse, do they have any culpability? You bet they do. You bet they do. And here's what else is going to happen. Say we elect a Republican president. Now you may be on the clock. You may be in the exact position President Obama was in 2008, that I'm willing to risk Democrat majorities in Congress to move what I want to move, the big ideas I want to move, Obamacare. I'll risk them. That's the hope that you would have if you had a Republican president, whoever that Republican president is. What you may have instead, depending on who the Republican president is someone who wants to do what the Republican Congress is doing, which is do nothing.
Go along to get along?
Yeah, I mean, do nothing except essentially extend the status quo, issue press releases, have a more orderly going out of business sale for the United States of America because they don't want to put their political seats at risk.
But does the Freedom Caucus have enough votes to stop this from going through?
No, because you're going to have a majority Democrat votes on this. So your Republican majorities are going to pass an omnibus funding bill, $1.1 trillion bill, thanks to the support of Democrats. This is what I decry when I hear bipartisan compromise is inherently a good thing. Is it inherently a good thing? Or, sometimes bipartisan compromise is a couple people getting together to rob a bank or to rob your bank. They agree wholeheartedly that your money is their money. So don't fall for the siren song of bipartisan compromise. And Jeff Sessions made that point. Senator Jeff Sessions from Alabama took to the Senate floor to decry this bill as well, and he made that point among others.
They elect people that they believe are going to take action to protect their security, their jobs, their wages, and what do they get? Bill that is worse than current law, goes in the opposite direction. No wonder people are upset.
This from Ian Murray in National Review Online. He points to the failure for regulatory relief. Spending as much, no real structural tax reform, kind of the special tax breaks, cronyism that is endemic to us, to Washington. But then on the regulatory relief side, there are no riders in this omnibus bill that do any of the following. Block the EPA, Army Corps of Engineers, Water of the United States rule, which expands government power over even arid areas. Block the EPA's Clean Power Plan, which is likely illegal, but which the administration hopes will do its damage before being struck down in court. Block funding of the Green Climate Fund giveaway that President Obama agreed to in Paris last week, as I mentioned. Block the Department of Labor's fiduciary rule, the Obamacare for your IRA. Block any of the administration's labor agenda, such as the joint employer rulings, which aim to roll back business practices 40 years. Block the implementation of the FCC's harmful net neutrality provisions. None of those things that you've heard Republicans mow for the last 7 years included in this omnibus agreement that Paul Ryan has struck with Democrats. You want to understand why Donald Trump is winning. So there you have members of Congress, Freedom Caucus, Matt Salmon on the House side, Jeff Sessions on the Senate side. You have Paul Ryan having to enlist the Democrats to pass a bill over the base of his caucus. And then you have Donald Trump on the stump in Arizona saying this.
There's a movement going on, folks. This isn't just like, let's go and have a good time. Somebody said, oh, Trump's a great entertainer. That's a lot of bullshit. I'll tell you. We have a message. And the message is we don't want to let other people take advantage of us.
Bingo. Candace in DuPage, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Okay, Dan, when we were talking about Paul Ryan, you defended him. A lot of us were against him as Speaker of the House, and you defended him, and now look what happened. I mean, he is. You're not going to tell me this guy's not corrupt and he's not just like all the rest of them?
I don't know. I don't.
Corrupt.
Corrupt is too strong for me for Paul Ryan. I think Paul Ryan is a bit of a creature of D.C. I mean, I did defend him because you look at his record, and there's a lot to defend in his record. He's been ahead of the learning curve on big issues like, for example, rethinking the welfare state and proposing long-term entitlement reform. So you hold out hope that there's going to be a new day in D.C. under Paul Ryan, and that day is not today. That's for sure. I mean, I got you. I mean, I get it. I'll take the heat. I understand, Candace. Thanks for the call.
All right, send him a letter.
If not him, then who? I mean, who would have done anything different than what we have before us?
Well, you may have, but you had no, part of it is you have to be able to win an election to move an agenda, and there was nobody that was going to defeat Paul Ryan in the race for Speaker once Paul Ryan decided that he was willing to do it. Now, is that a commentary on the Republican caucus in the House as well? The Republican establishment as well? Yeah, you can make that argument. I get it. I mean, opportunities to step up, and you hope people do. And when they don't, the key is to have accountability mechanisms so they can be replaced. being a member of the House, being the House Speaker, no one's birthright. No one's birthright. Maybe some Republicans are going to find that out this fall.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Mostly cloudy today, windy and a lot cooler. You're definitely going to need your winter gear as you head out the door. A high of 36 degrees. We have 31 right now at O'Hare. And then tomorrow, Friday, breezy with clouds yielding to some sun, a high of 31. Let's get the travel times this Thursday morning and say good morning to Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. A good day to make sure those winter emergency kits are ready to go in your vehicle. We have heavy delays on the inbound Rye, and the local lanes are blocked at 47th. There's an overturned truck. Express lanes are open. Traffic is jammed, though, from the Skyway to 47th. Again, the local lanes are blocked. Inbound Bishop Ford Freeway traffic is bunching up now between Cottage Grove and the Merge. You have a brief delay there. I-57 still fine. Edens, Kennedy looking good. Same goes for the Eisenhower and the Stevenson. Northbound Tri-State, things have cleared up around the Cermak Toll Plaza. There was a delay after some work at the open road tolling lanes. In Norwich, there's a crash, intersection of Cumberland and Lawrence. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Hi, it's Dan Proft for Pastor Ed Bryant, the gun safety guy. Self and family protection is all about responsibility. Pastor Bryant helps the good people in society safely enjoy recreational shooting, along with improving their ability to protect themselves and their family responsibly. New shooters learn the fundamentals. Experienced shooters develop and enhance their skills. Above everything, everyone is taught to value safety first. I've taken a class with Pastor Bryant, and it is well worth it. Give the gift of firearm safety this holiday season. Gift certificates may be used for a variety of classes and levels, from rifle to pistol, recreation to protection. Gift certificates make a wonderful gift and are available right now. Purchase yours online at thegunsafetyguide.com. That's thegunsafetyguide.com. Family-friendly firearms instruction with NRA-certified instructor and NRA training counselor, Pastor Ed Bryant. Thegunsafetyguide.com. Purchase your gift certificate today online at thegunsafetyguide.com. That's thegunsafetyguide.com.
The holidays are just around the corner, and you want your home to feel warm and inviting so that you can create a memorable experience. Before you start decorating for the season, call Executive Green Carpet Cleaning at 708-599-5151. There's still time to have your carpet, upholstery, tile, and grout cleaned before those special dinner guests arrive. Executive Green Carpet Cleaning's process is safe for your entire family. They use their own purified water and a non-toxic solution that leaves no residue, so you can rest assured you'll have a clean carpet when the kids and grandkids exchange their gifts. Want one of the best gifts this holiday season? It's Executive Green's no-risk guarantee. If you are not 100% satisfied, you will not pay for your service. Make your home beautiful for the holidays by scheduling now at 708-599-5151. Ask about their holiday special, 3 rooms for $139. 708-599-5151 or schedule online at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
Does holiday shopping in stores increase your risk of identity theft? Yes. Shopping puts personal information out there, and big retailers have been breached. Does shopping online increase risk? Yes. Online shopping leaves a trail of personal information behind. Does giving fruitcake as a gift increase risk? No. It's not very original, and the fruitcake may never get eaten, but it won't increase risk. Holiday shopping and using Wi-Fi over an eggnog latte at the coffee shop will. That's why LifeLock does more than free credit monitoring services to protect you from identity theft. We have proprietary technology to detect a range of threats. And if you have an identity problem, we have a US-based team of specialists who work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor transactions at every business, but with LifeLock, you can shop till you drop and feel better protected, even if you do buy the fruitcake again. Right now, enjoy 10% off your membership as our gift to you. Go to lifelock.com and enter promo code NEWS.
AM 560, The Answer.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
We're almost there, Dan. Are you excited? We're almost there. Are we there yet? We have almost reached our goal of feeding 18,000 hungry children in and around the Chicagoland area this year. We've teamed up once again, actually for our 7th year now, with Feed the Children. And what we love about Feed the Children is what's raised here stays here. A one-time donation of $76 will help feed 16 hungry children this holiday season. And Hunger doesn't take a holiday, so the need is still great during the holiday season. We're asking you to take a few minutes out of your day to dial this number, 866-435-2248. Operators are standing by. They'll take your information to make a donation. The 76 donation is what we're asking for, but whatever amount you can give will be much appreciated. And that's just one way to help. The other way is through our business benefactor program.
Yes, it is.
And the list is getting longer. Dan, did you get the new list hot off
did.
the presses?
It's encouraging more.
Pages.
This is what I like too, private action. You don't need to. Private action is always better. And so we've got Germ Busters and JRC Dedicated Trucking and Shorto Finn and Rosinski Law and KG Auto Works and Midwest Siding Supply and Thulin and Associates and Inspire Realty Partners and on. Dozens of businesses that are participating in our business benefactor program, and we appreciate their generosity. Here's how the program works. Make a $2,500 tax-deductible contribution to feed the children, and in return, you get 40 60-second commercials from AM 560 that will run on our airwaves Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., so prime broadcasting hours. All you do to participate in this program, like so many of these other good corporate citizens, is call our sales manager, Michael Mann, directly at 847-871-1527, 847-871-1527, or you can just text us to our turnkey.pro text line, the same text line you use for the show. That's 64636, and you'll be prompted to enroll.
Yeah, and if you've thought about advertising on radio in the past and you were sitting on the fence, I have to tell you, this is really a great way to get your foot in the door and to try it out. Many of our business benefactors are long-term clients, people such as Tom Sedeka from Precision Payroll.
I love Tom Sedeka.
Yeah, he started with us 7 years ago as a business benefactor, and now his business has grown because he advertises here. And really, 2016, you're going to want to be an advertiser on this station because everyone's talking about the election, and we're the only station, Dan, in town talking politics all day, every day.
And it's humbling to have so many area small businesses, small to mid-sized businesses. These are entrepreneurial capitalists. That's who we're talking about here. Be so generous. It's very encouraging, and we should point out the money that is raised feeds families here, Chicagoland. So the money stays local. It's an important point.
So call Michael Mann right now. Even if you have any questions, if you're leery about it, he will answer all of your questions. His number is 847-871-1527. You're going to want to get on this list, 847-871-1527.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
When I started on this, I stopped my blood pressure and my cholesterol medicine. My blood pressure, after a week since then, has been normal, and my bad cholesterol dropped 27 points in 3 weeks, and my overall cholesterol dropped like 25 points. So I'm good. So I'm not taking anything.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
You've heard me talking about upstream-ideas.com. Why haven't you visited? I miss you. If you haven't checked it out yet, you're missing thoughtful expository content you won't find anywhere else. Each week, you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current. This week, featuring Congressman Peter Roskam. That's our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. You can watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising program, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. That show Sunday at 3 p.m. on these airwaves as well. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that are not heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, a judge declares a mistrial in the Freddie Gray officer case, but there could be a retrial.
Yes, and Marilyn Mosby, the prosecutor in Baltimore, may be going the way of Stephanie Rawlings Blake before too long.
We'll have all that when we come back after we check in From news here at home and around the world with the one and only Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 33 in clouds. GOP House Speaker Paul Ryan satisfied, he says, with the long-term budget deal struck this week.
We are ending Washington's days of extending tax policies 1 year at a time. I cannot tell you how many times I have visited with small businesses and farmers who tell me, give me some certainty in the tax code.
Ryan noting the measure reauthorizes a health insurance program for 9/11 first responders. It also ends a 40-year ban on U.S. crude oil exports and takes steps to reform the IRS. They're preparing for more demonstrations in Baltimore today after a mistrial was declared in the trial of a police officer charged in the death of Freddie Gray. Jurors could not reach a verdict on any of the charges against Officer William Porter. Gray family attorney Bill Murphy says he's hopeful for a new trial soon.
Now, I understand that the judge has ordered the parties to appear before the administrative judge and that the state will be seeking a new trial on behalf of Mr. Porter. So this saga is not over.
Porter was the first of 6 officers to be tried. A lot of Americans won't see big effects from the Federal Reserve's first interest rate hike in 9 years. The quarter-point hike in overnight interest will likely show up first in your variable rate credit card. Jordan Goodman of MoneyAnswers.com noting the Fed has indicated it will not be the last rate hike.
They're looking to raise rates higher. They have to see that the economy is going to support it, but they would clearly like rates much higher than they are now, maybe in the 2% range, something like that.
Rates can adjust without the usual 45-day notices credit card companies are required to give on those variable rate cards. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is expected to meet with the Justice Department later today, part of a civil rights investigation into the city's police department. The Illinois budget impasse, now in its 6th month, will be at the center of discussions during another meeting between legislative leaders and Republican Governor Bruce Rauner today. And Chicago Public Schools will pay $280,000 to settle a suit by teachers who claim they were unfairly targeted after they became pregnant. Federal suit claimed that Scammon Elementary Principal Mary Weaver gave pregnant teachers lower performance ratings, then tried to fire them. This morning, we're watching a developing story as Florida Atlantic University is firing a controversial communications professor who believes that the 2012 school shooting in Sandy Hook was a government hoax. Florida Sun-Sentinel reports that FAU gave Assistant Professor James Tracy notice of termination yesterday. Tracy has a Facebook page called Sandy Hook Hoax that has more than 10,000 followers. Chicago sports, Bulls over Memphis, 98-85. White Sox make a 3-team trade, and they get back in return the Reds' third baseman Todd Frazier. The news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, their grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or mad.org, MADD.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I think America is dying.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Everybody came here to be free. Everybody came here to strike it out on their own. Everybody wanted government to stay out of their hair. Everybody wanted to be free. Not today. We have way too many people in America who no longer want that America.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hurry in for Cabela's Christmas sale in Hoffman Estates and Hammond, Indiana. Plus, don't miss Amazing Doorbusters this Saturday at 8 a.m. Don't miss the Cabela's Christmas sale.
Now, more than ever, choosing a real estate agent to sell your home is one of the most important decisions you can make.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know what it takes to sell your home.
The Wall Street Journal ranked Ed at 88th in the entire country for closed listings.
I know that there's no gimmick to selling your home, just a strategic marketing plan and the confidence needed to make your transaction successful.
Chicago Agent Magazine recognized Ed as the #1 rank in Will County.
You can hire anybody to list your house, but you'll need the local local market knowledge that I have to sell it.
When Ed saw market trends change, he was ready and promptly received a RE/MAX of Northern Illinois Trendsetter Award.
Sure, it takes awards, but it also takes a lot of effort. So why would you try to sell your home with a we'll sell your house or buy it from you kind of agent? If an agent has to promise to buy your listing, then something's seriously wrong.
Call Ed Lukasic Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
5:35 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center, the very latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Ryan, traffic is stop and go from the Skyway to 47th, where the local lanes have reopened. There was an overturned truck which had everything blocked in the locals, but that is gone. The express lanes are delay-free, but it's slow in the locals from the Skyway to 47th, at least a 5-minute delay. It's also getting heavy approaching downtown. On Bishop Ford, you've got about a 2 or 3 minute delay between 103rd and the Merge. Eden's clear, Kennedy as well. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower, Stevenson or I-57. The tollways are looking good. You'll have some traffic issues on the south and southwest sides this afternoon with the visitation funeral for firefighter Daniel Capuano, and then also a procession to Holy Sepulchre Cemetery in Chicago Ridge. All of that is scheduled to happen starting around 3 o'clock this afternoon and continuing into the evening. Traffic service of Illinois Partners for Clean Air. Why stress over icy roads, traffic, and parking? Public transit gives you flexibility. Get on board with saving time, money, and improving air quality. Learn to breathe easy and save easy with Illinois Partners for Clean Air at cleantheair.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Cloudy, windy, and colder. High 36 today. Cloudy, breezy, and 24 overnight. Currently 32. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
So, Baltimore didn't burn down last night, Dan.
No,
Only 2 people were arrested during the protests.
Yeah, the protests regarding... a bit of eerie irony. On the day that Jason Van Dyke, the officer in Chicago involved in the Laquan McDonald shooting, on the day that he's formally indicted, hung jury in the first trial of the Baltimore police officers involved in the Freddie Gray case. This was the trial of Officer William Porter.
Yeah.
On several charges, including manslaughter, and hung jury.
Yeah, his defense attorney did a pretty good job of painting a picture of what actually happened that day at trial. He said that it wasn't callous, it was indifference that put him in the position that he was in, that he did not secure Freddie Gray in the back of the van. He admits that he didn't do that. But when Freddie Gray later said he needed help, he pulled over eventually and got him help. He said that he knew Freddie Gray and they had a mutual respect for each other because of, on the streets, they were both about the same age, 26, 25 years old, and they ran into each other often. I mean, William Porter took this defense, or took the stand in his own defense and just said, it was just indifference. I didn't mean to do this. It was an accident.
It was not indifference because he was charged with callous indifference.
But the jury didn't think so.
Well, some of them didn't. That's right, and it requires unanimity. He was charged with manslaughter, assault, and reckless endangerment, as well as misconduct in office. Hung jury on all 4 charges. Now it's up to Marilyn Mosby, Baltimore's Anita Alvarez, to decide whether or not she's going to retry Porter or press on with a case against 5 other Baltimore police officers. By the way, William Porter, we have to say this because of the nature of the racial politics surrounding all this. Officer William Porter, a black gentleman.
Yeah. Very, large, tall, African-American man. But keep in mind, he was not the one who arrested Gray or loaded him into the van on his belly and had his hands and feet shackled.
Well, here's the other thing.
He was called to check on Gray. So, the fact that he was even charged with those, I thought, a little severe exaggerated charges. Maybe some jurors, and I agree.
Some of the problems, remember how the information comes out in the wake of a case like this. It comes out piecemeal and information needs to be corrected. During the trial, for example, one of the things that may have led to a hung jury, prosecutors were forced to admit that Freddie Gray had a prior back injury that occurred the month before he was arrested. This also kind of puts the $6.4 million settlement the city made with the Gray family into a bit of a new light, I would say. And again, to a parallel to Chicago, $6.4 million the city of Baltimore paid the Gray family before the family sued them. So maybe this is where Rahm got his model. Listen to this. I mean, honestly, to crawl into the mind of some of these people. D. Ray McKesson, you remember this guy? He's one of the founders of Black Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Is he really African-American?
He is,
that's
Sean
King.
Yeah,
Sorry.
right.
I get him confused.
Plus, Rachel Dolezal educated us. Race doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He lives.
How you feel, Dan.
That's right. He lives in Baltimore, D. Ray McKesson.
Well, how convenient. So he didn't have to go far.
No, and this is just a stunning response. After all the protests and all the overheated rhetoric, for Marilyn Mosby to fail to secure a conviction. This is a hung jury. This is not an acquittal, said McKesson. That's important. The prosecution resonated with the jury in some capacity, and that is undeniable. Boy, talk about finding the silver lining here.
Mm-hmm.
Just a fascinating response from people. Is it because Marilyn Mosby is an African-American woman? Is it because the cop was African-American, so he can't play the normal black-white racial politics he's wont to play? I mean, what a response. Do you think that response would have been the same if we were talking about a white cop or if it was a white prosecutor? He'd be like incompetence, cover-up, all kinds of conspiracy theories.
The racial discord continues. Yeah, I could hear it all.
This was a great victory to have a hung jury. What are you talking about?
Well, they are going to meet later today to see whether or not they're going to retry this case. But here is William Porter's attorney. His name is Bill Murray Jr., no relation to our Bill Murray.
If the family's not angry, no one else should be angry. And I think the family has a bigger stake in this than almost anybody else.
And he said that because Freddie Gray's family came out right away and said, please don't protest. You know, we want every Baltimore to remain calm. We don't need to repeat what happened here back in November.
This doesn't sound to me like the Blagojevich case where you have one holdout juror. No, it sounds to me, we don't know.
Well, they were deadlocked for 3 days, and that's when the judge just finally called it.
Right, but it sounds to me like there was, just by the nature of how it's being reported and how some of the attorneys are talking about, it sounds to me like a real deadlock, like, 50-50 or on some order. Like they're not necessarily particularly close. And so what will a retrial accomplish? Not to mention, how does it impact the prosecution of the other officers? I mean, this is really interesting. Here's something else. One of the reckless endangerment and misconduct in office charge, that charge required the jury to find that Officer Porter had acted, quote, with an evil motive and bad faith. Jurors sent a note to the judge, Judge Williams, during their deliberations, asking him to define those words. He declined to do so. So when you have these judgment calls, you ask a jury to look into the heart of someone, particularly a police officer, that at least some members of the jury probably inclined to give the benefit of the doubt. It's a challenge to get a conviction. And what happens if we find similar challenges in Chicago in, say, the Laquan McDonald case?
That is possible, because yesterday an indictment came down, 7 counts indicted. He has to go to court tomorrow. 6 of them were first-degree murder charges, and then the other one was endangerment of a police officer. I don't know what that one came from, but he'll be back. Jason Van Dyke's going to be back in court tomorrow. But in regards to this case, Dan, William Porter, they needed him to testify in the next trial against one of his fellow police officers, Goodson, the man who was driving the van. So they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do today. But in the meantime, here's your lovely mayor of Baltimore. Would you like to hear from her? Your BFF?
Mayor SRB, Stephanie Rawlings Blake, you'll recall. This is kind of resetting the table with the cast of characters in Baltimore. She was a rising star in the Democrat Party, can't miss. Now she's not running for re-election. Marilyn Mosby, another rising star, 35-year-old state's attorney, young prosecutor, attractive African-American woman. She is finding, I think, her political career in jeopardy as yet another urban center dominated by Democrats for a century disintegrates before our very eyes.
Yeah, and she spoke outside the courtroom yesterday.
If we believe in justice, must have respect for the outcome of the judicial process. This is our American system of justice.
So again, too, she was urging calm, and she didn't want people
Our American system of justice.
She didn't want people to burn anything down.
Well, I appreciate Oliver Wendell Holmes Blake there. This is the same woman who wanted to give rioters a safe space to riot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and they were looking for that safe space last night.
Don't get it! Shut it down! Since we ain't get it! Shut it down! Since we ain't get it! Shut it down! We don't get it!
All these protests, it just all becomes white noise to me. I don't even listen. I really can't take it anymore because 3 times last week I was stopped by the protesters who were, upset about Laquan McDonald case.
Isn't it fascinating when those who spend so much of their time undermining the system and decrying the system and spinning conspiracy theories about the system are put in charge of the system, and the system doesn't produce the results they thought it would produce, that their constituency wanted it to produce, and they're put in the awkward position of trying to defend the system? I mean, listening to Mayor SRB and Prosecutor Marilyn Mosby is pretty entertaining stuff, isn't it?
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Clouds today, no sunshine. Sorry, but it'll be windy, and it's going to be a lot cooler than yesterday. You're definitely going to need to get out your winter coat and hats and gloves. A high of 36 degrees. Tonight into the 20s we go, and then tomorrow breezy with clouds, some sunshine, which is good news, but still chilly. Kind of average for this time of year, a high of 31 degrees. Let's see how the inbound Ryan is doing. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. It is heavy. There was an overturned truck which had the local lanes blocked near 47th Street, and this has left delays. The locals are slow from 95th all the way up to around 43rd. And in the express lanes, it's not quite so bad. You see delays starting in the express around the Skyway, but it's about 30 minutes from 95th to downtown right now. Also getting heavy approaching the Loop. Bishop Ford, now the 5-minute delay from 103rd to the Merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway at the Des Plaines Oasis. There's some debris in the roadway. No lanes are blocked, but several cars are on the side with flat tires. Caution, eastbound I-90 approaching the Des Plaines Oasis. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
It's easy to take your commercial HVAC system for granted. It's always there, keeping your building comfortably warm or cool. Until you have a system failure. With another unforgiving Chicago winter just around the corner, now's the time to have a comprehensive review of your mechanical HVAC system. And you don't want just anyone. You want Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For over 80 years, Air Comfort has delivered its customers the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as Star Certified by the MSCA, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900 or online at aircomfort.com. A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gevalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
AM 560, The Answer.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I am telling you
It's
why.
that time of year. 'Tis the season to give to those less fortunate. And we've partnered up with Feed the Children, and we're almost reached our goal, Dan. We're so close, and we really need your help to push us across that finish line. We have set a goal this year to feed 18,000 hungry children in and around the Chicago area. And what Feed the Children does is the money that's raised here stays here. What they do is help families in need who are in the suburbs. Yes, there's a lot of suburbanites out there who've come across some hard times, maybe a job loss, a health scare, a
the
divorce.
Obama economy, sure.
Or, yeah, exactly. Not everyone's out of the recession, and people still need help. And I told you the story once of I always get choked up, and I'm trying not to, the neighbor of mine who I was driving to work one morning, and she was in a construction dumpster pulling out metal, and she was going to take it to Finkel Steel. But she does that in the middle of the night. And I said, and I'm not going to mention her name, but what's going on? She said, my husband lost his job. They have 4 children. And she said, it's, a couple $100 a night. So this is what I do. And I got her number, called her later, gave her the name of a food pantry in our neighborhood, which is served by Feed the Children. And let her, so every Tuesday for that time when it was very difficult, she went in, she wore a baseball cap. She didn't want anybody to see her. It's because it's a pride thing. And she went in and got groceries for her family and received sundry items, toothpaste, deodorant, makeup. So really, the need is always there. But during the holiday season, it's a little bit nicer to help those in need. So we're asking for a one-time donation of $76. With that will help feed 16 children. And it will also provide a 25-pound box of food filled with non-perishable items, and also a 10-pound box of essentials filled with personal items like those toiletries that I was mentioning, toothpaste, makeup, deodorant, things that people don't buy for themselves. So we're asking for a one-time donation of $76, but whatever money you could give would be much appreciated. Make a donation on behalf of your well-fed children or grandchildren and help those in need. The number is 866-435-2248. That's 866-435-2248.
And the other way to participate, like so many of our small, medium-sized business benefactors have, is participate in the Business Benefactor Program. And this is where you make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children. And AM 560 provides in return, 40 60-second commercials, 40 one-minute commercials that will run on these airwaves Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., so prime broadcasting hours. To enroll in this program, participate in this program, it's easy. You just call our sales manager. He is the Michael Mann. His number is 847-871-1527. And he will get you signed up straight away. Or you can just text us to the same text line you use for the show, 64636, our turnkey.pro text line, 64636. Just text FEED to that number, and you'll be prompted to sign up.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Too high. Your property taxes are too high. Illinois has the second highest property tax rate in the country, a burden that unfairly penalizes people like you. Why does Illinois have the second highest property tax rate in the country? Because elected officials spend too much money. Year after year, lawmakers promise to freeze the property tax rate. They make false promises at election time and fail to get the job done. The result? Property tax rates go up and up. It's time to force the politicians to keep their promise to voters. Join Americans for Prosperity in the fight to freeze property taxes. Go to afpil.org to start a tax freeze petition in your community. Go to afpil.org to put the brakes on runaway property taxes. If you're sick and tired of ever-increasing property taxes, do something about it. Go to afpil.org, paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
For a long time, Turnkey IT has been providing solutions to AM560 business owners. It's a name that you have come to know and trust. Turnkey IT takes care of your technology and has a plan that fits your company's IT budget and network needs. Interested in moving some or all of your business to the cloud? Turnkey IT can migrate your network to Microsoft's Office 365. Need someone to call when you can't print, have a lost file, or need tech support? Turnkey IT's got you covered. Offsite backup? Check. On-site support? Check. Help desk support? Check. Turnkey IT's staff is professional, friendly, punctual, and will solve all of your technical problems immediately and work even after normal business hours, all for a fixed monthly rate. Turnkey IT knows your network is truly the heartbeat of your company, so focus on your business and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Do you know where Bernie Sanders was yesterday? Did you see? He decided,
making syrup?
No, he decided to go to a mosque in Washington, D.C. and sit down with some people and, for a nice little photo op.
Oh, I can't wait for the...
Didn't take any questions from reporters, but sat there.
Can't wait for the square off between Bernie Sanders and Marty O'Malley.
Oh, that's Saturday, man. That's prime time.
Oh, boy.
David Muir and Martha Raddatz are going to be large and in charge Saturday night on ABC, the Democratic debate. Hey,
Stop, you're making me sleepy.
18 million people watched the last GOP debate, making it the third highest watched debate ever.
Yeah.
So that's good. People are still interested. I like that.
And 8 people will watch Saturday night's debate. Speaking of Bernie Sanders, Mike Rowe, you remember Mike Rowe?
Oh, yeah. Mike Rowe here. Mike Rowe here. Didn't he start as Ford commercials?
I think the Ford commercials were after his success at Discovery.
Oh, I didn't watch
Narrating Deadliest Catch, one of my favorite shows. Dirtiest Jobs, another great show. Well, he's responding to Knucklehead, as he calls him, Bernie Sanders, for arguing that the government should pay for college because it's cheaper than incarceration.
Say that again.
Bernie Sanders has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Free college. Everything's free under Bernie Sanders, meaning you pay for it. And they take your stuff and they give it to somebody else. That's Bernie Sanders free, translated.
Free community college here in Chicago.
Right, yes. But Sanders suggested, in terms of the rationale for his quote-unquote free college, is that government should pay for it, meaning we should pay for it, because it's cheaper than incarceration, implying that you either go to college and get a college degree or you go to prison.
Why doesn't he ask Scott Walker that question?
Yeah.
Because he seems to be doing pretty well for himself. Well, he did go to college, but he didn't finish it.
Well, Mike Rowe wrote on Facebook yesterday, I wonder sometimes if the best way to question the increasingly dangerous idea that a college education is the best path for most people is to stop fighting the sentiment directly and simply shine a light on the knuckleheads who continue to perpetuate this nonsense. Is it possible that Senator Sanders doesn't realize the number of college graduates with criminal records? Is he unaware of the millions of successful tradespeople and entrepreneurs who didn't pay for sheepskin but somehow managed to stay out of the clink? The truth is this. There's no alternative for an education and no hope for a person who doesn't want to learn something useful and apply it. But there are many, many alternatives to college, and none of them come with a prison sentence. I think we just found Donald Trump's running mate.
Fact, approximately 60% of all residential properties in Cook County are overassessed and paying way too much in property taxes. Here's the good news. If you live anywhere in Cook County, Chicago, or the burbs, now there's a way to find out in 60 seconds or less if you're one of the 60% that's overpaying. IAppealPropertyTax.com will give you your estimated savings without cost or obligation. If you decide to appeal your taxes, IAppealPropertyTax.com handles the entire process for a modest flat fee depending on your actual tax savings. IAppealPropertyTax.com has an 85% success rate once the appeal is filed. And if your appeal isn't successful, it costs you $0. So if you're a Cook County property owner and even suspect your taxes are too high, visit IAppealPropertyTax.com. That's IAppealPropertyTax.com. Do it now. You've got nothing to lose and potentially a lot to save. IAppealPropertyTax.com.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here. Christmas is coming fast. Last-minute gifts are hard to find. So, guys, here it is. Put your love in a locket with Heartstrings customized lockets. It's super cool, a glass locket that opens to charms inside. Birthstones, initials, hobbies, sports. It's completely up to you. I've got birthstones in mind for my kids and a little microphone for the radio. It's something unique that captures her story in a locket. It's a home run Christmas gift, or ladies, make one for yourself. Choose from over 900 unique charms. Go to one of 4 Heartstrings kiosks at Orland Square Mall and Yorktown Center, Lower Level Center Court, or Gurney Mills and Fox Valley Mall near Macy's. A locket specialist will be right there with you every step of the way. A heartstring customized locket. She wants it. Get it for her. Find them at Orland Square Mall, Yorktown Center, Fox Valley, or Gurney Mills, or online at yourheartstring.com. That's YOUR heartstring.com. Mention the promo code Amy and get a free charm.
WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. How do we keep terrorists out? A congressional hearing this morning will question the Obama administration about vetting processes and how one of the San Bernardino killers passed background checks. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Those questions are expected to focus on how the government uses social media posts and vetting applications from foreigners who want to come to the U.S. You can also expect them to get into what clues may have been missed when San Bernardino shooter Tashfeen Malik was given a visa, despite the admission from FBI Director James Comey that she and her husband used social media messages to discuss jihad as far back as 2013. Homeland Security Director Jay Johnson denies reports that workers in his department were barred from looking at social media as part of the vetting process. Dave.
Tanya, President Obama will visit San Bernardino tomorrow. Today gets a threat update at the National Counterterrorism Center. It was a calm night in Baltimore following initial small protests. After a mistrial was declared in the case against William Porter, the jury unable to agree on charges against the police officer in Freddie Gray's death. Lawyers will meet in judges' chambers today.
Decisions must be made about whether or not to push back the next 5 cases because prosecutors reportedly hoped to get Porter to testify against at least some of the other officers, but they cannot compel him to talk while charges against him are pending.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Baltimore. Ash Carter may soon face Hillary Clinton treatment now that the Pentagon confirms the defense secretary has done government business through personal email. Even though he got a government email account when he took the job in February, Pentagon policy prohibits that. Chicago is going to Cleveland.
Waiting for the break of day.
The legendary band is headed to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Go on, take the money and run.
So is Steve Miller joining the class of 2016. Cheap Trick also gets in, so do Deep Purple and rappers NWA. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Not a bad day for rock and roll in Illinois. Morning, everyone. 33 degrees and cloudy skies. Winds are gusty out of the south at 16. 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Mayor Rahm Emanuel expected to meet with the Justice Department today, part of a civil rights investigation into the city's police department. Investigators have already begun their misconduct probe, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
Investigators met with the leaders of the Chicago Police Department as the DOJ opens its probe that follows the police shooting of Laquan McDonald and the 400 days it took to bring charges in the case. Mayor Emanuel says he will meet with the feds as well.
And I'm committed to making sure that I use all my energy to not allow this issue to kind of be packaged with just some set of reforms so we, quote unquote, as a city can move on. That's not possible.
Emanuel said previous efforts to address police misconduct have never gotten to the core of the problem. David Stewart, Chicago.
A charter school company that runs 30 schools in Illinois, including 4 in the city of Chicago, is suspected of steering federally funded contracts to insiders. Sun-Times says that clout-heavy Concept Schools of Des Plaines is named in federal documents investigating their award of $5 million in no-bid contracts for computers tied to the Concept School officials. Concept Schools does have ties to a influential Muslim cleric and Democratic Party Chair and House Speaker Mike Madigan. Illinois' budget impasse enters its 6th month, and it will be at the center of discussions during another meeting of legislative leaders with Republican Governor Bruce Rauner later today. Hospital officials have delayed a step in their plan to open a $40 million trauma center on Chicago's South Side. Crane Chicago Business reports University of Chicago Medicine and Sinai Health plan to present their proposal for a regional adult trauma center to a committee of hospitals this week, but will wait until March instead. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler, 24, and the Bulls win over Memphis. College hoops, here are your winners: Illinois State, Minnesota, Ohio State over Northern Illinois 67-54, and Cleveland State topped Loyola. The news service of Cabela's. Hurry in for Cabela's Christmas sale in Hoffman Estates and Hammond, Indiana. Shop Saturday 8 a.m. doorbusters for amazing deals on all of your favorite brands, or get the gift that always fits, Cabela's gift cards. Don't miss the Cabela's Christmas sale. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager wants answers from the president.
What law would he have passed that would have stopped the San Bernardino massacre? If you can tell me of an effective law that would have allowed the law-abiding citizen to get guns, but not these people, I want to know what they are. So I always ask, what do you propose? And then there are crickets.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Assyrian total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
.606, let's get an update on the roads. ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the eastbound Adams Tollway, I-90, traffic is stop and go from Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. The right lane is now blocked. There's some concrete debris on the roadway, and several cars have been left with flat tires, and that's right near the Des Plaines Oasis. Delays start around Bussey. The other tollways are good. Inbound Ryan, very heavy. There was an earlier rollover truck, and in fact, when that truck overturned, dumped some steel off on the right side of the roadway. The delays start around 95th Street. It's slow pretty much all the way to 43rd in the locals, a little better in the express. Also heavy then, again, from the Stevenson into downtown Chicago. The travel time right now is about 35 minutes from 95th to downtown. Outbound fine at 15. I-57 now 25 minutes. I-80 to the merge, in part because of that. And the Bishop Ford Freeway looking at about 20 minutes from 80-94 to the Rhine. Slight delays on the inbound Eisenhower from Manheim to Harlem, the inbound Stevenson, Central to Kedzie. Traffic service with Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites. A Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in Lettuce gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy and windy today and tonight. High 36 and a low tonight 24. Then still breezy tomorrow. Clouds followed by some sun with a high 31. Then tomorrow night turning out clear and breezy with a low 19. Breezy with sunshine Saturday, high 33. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
32 at O'Hare, 33 along the lake. Next news at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
This omnibus bill approves the president's request for increased refugee admissions. They elect people that they believe are going to take action to protect their security, their jobs, their wages, and what do they get? Bill that is worse than current law.
The feeling most people get when they hear Barack Obama's speech, I felt this thrill going up my leg.
The leg, is the thrill still there in the leg, or is it not? What's that?
Gonna help.
There's a movement going on, folks. This isn't just like, let's go and have a good time. Somebody said, oh, Trump's a great entertainer. That's a lot of bullshit. I'll tell you.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. By the way, thank you, Carlos.
Oh, yeah.
At Dunkin' Donuts for the coffee.
Yeah, Addison and Elston. Carlos has been there. He's a manager. He works 6 days a week, and he works hard. He works 10-hour days. He's a good guy. And
So for Addison and Elston, the Dunkin' Donuts Addison and Elston, go there, ask for Carlos, get your coffee there. Do not go to Starbucks. Howard Schultz, the goof, said he doesn't want conservatives.
No.
And if you don't want a race lecture, why would you go to Starbucks in the first place? So go to Dunkin' Donuts and get your coffee from Carlos. Ask for him by name.
do you see how Starbucks got in trouble because they were selling polar bear cookies, and all those lefty liberals were outraged?
It's true.
How do you not care about the polar bears? I'm not kidding. So they yanked the polar bear cookies. You can't even make this stuff up.
Well, there's nothing I enjoy more when the left is beset by their own internal contradictions, and there's infighting, and this is the perfect segue to the infighting going on about the future of one tiny dancer who is still pirouetting around City Hall.
Hey, I like it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he was hammered hard by reporters about this recall bill, and he's looking.
Is he a proponent of the recall bill?
Yeah, he does not like the recall bill, but he won't say that out loud. He'll just say that he's focusing on other items.
I still want to hear an argument against the recall bill. I want to hear anybody give me an argument as to why every Republican should not be on LaShawn Ford's recall legislation. You can give us a call on the turnkey.pro answer line at 312-642-5600. Send us a text to the turnkey.pro text line 64636. Type in DA, then your comment. Or, you ready for this? You can call or email us directly from the AM 560 mobile app on your smartphone. A little new wrinkle there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Rahm Emanuel, his face is getting wrinkly because he's looking very nervous, and he has those pierced lips and eyes, and was wondering, when is this going to go away? Here he was yesterday when they asked him about the proposed recall bill.
This is a time for real solutions to a real challenge. My focus is on the challenges ahead of the city of Chicago, building a stronger future.
Mm-hmm. That was the answer. And then he didn't take any more questions. That was it.
Well, he has to pack.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're not allowed.
Come on, Dan. I mean, he's leaving on Saturday. He's leaving in 2 days. Oh, shoot. I wasn't supposed to say that.
We're leaving. Me, Ram, Amy, we're taking the kids.
You're going with?
Yeah. That's why tomorrow's my last day of the year, because I'm jetting off to Cuba on a fact-finding cultural exchange mission with Tiny Dancer and the family. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. I know he's a bit touchy on the subject, but that's what's going on. And so Ram, he is not a proponent of the recall legislation.
No, he's not. But he didn't say that publicly. But of course, my sources told me he knows. Obviously, he's very well aware that it could be percolating, but it hasn't percolated yet, Dan. What other lawmakers have signed on to the recall bill?
Well, I haven't checked last count. I know we've had a couple of Republicans express support. Jeannie Ives, state rep from Wheaton. State Senator Tim Bivens, a Republican from the Dixon area, signed on in the Senate. I think Mark Batnick out Oswego way. We've had him on the show before. He's supportive of recall legislation, comprehensive recall across the state, including but not limited to the city of Chicago. So maybe there's some progress there, but you have to keep beating the drum because, as I have said before, the problem in Springfield is most of them are cowards. That's the bad news. The good news is most of them are cowards. So pressure moves people. That's what happens. That's how you actually advance a flag rather than just wave it. You put pressure on these state legislators, make it clear to them that their careers are on the line. That's how you get them to do anything, even something so simple as recalling the boîte noire of Western civilization, Tiny Dancer. It is stunning to me how slow they have been to act with somebody as unpopular and deservedly so as Tiny Dancer.
Well, one person who was on your side, unlikely bedfellows, that's what I'm calling this, former Illinois Governor Pat Quinn came forward yesterday. He was at a Cook County board meeting, and Charles Thomas from ABC7 asked him about the recall bill. And Dan, you and him have something in common because he supports it.
Frankly, I think we should have all offices subject to recall because it keeps every office holder on their toes 24 hours a day, every day of their term. I believe in petition passing and giving people a chance to have their say on issues as well as candidates, and I look forward to doing that in the future.
What? Wait, what? What was the last part?
In the what? May I again? In the future?
I believe in petition passing and giving people a chance to have their say on issues as well as candidates, and I look forward to doing that in the future.
Oh, don't call it a comeback. Pat Quinn, maybe I don't know if he'll participate in this special election if and when Rahm would be recalled, but he certainly wants to plot a comeback. It's so interesting. By the way, Pat Quinn, he is, number one, he talks to you like a kindergarten teacher. Oh, but government is where people come together. And then take out your carpet squares and it's nap time. In addition to that, he is, by the way, just so we understand.
Yes.
I mean, I'd like to kind of recall Quinn after the fact, just as a statement of.
He doesn't hold elective office.
Just as a statement.
Take it back.
Just as a statement of principle, I want to erase his 5 years as governor. He is, by the way, just so anybody is no longer confused about Pat Quinn because of that kindergarten teacher mannerism he uses. Not a nice man. He's not this. He's not this. Oh, he's a nice guy. He's just a bit of a bumbling fool.
An advocate for those in need.
Right. Tiny Dancer is transparently a jerk. Pat Quinn is untransparently a jerk. And all you need to know and all you need to do is go back and look at Pat Quinn's record when he used people with developmental disabilities as cannon fodder for a big government agenda from which they received no benefit. And also tried to unionize moms and dads against their developmentally disabled children.
That was a sick move.
Pat Quinn is as craven and despicable as any other part of the Chicago Democrat power structure that has lorded over the state for the last several generations, even if he's not always in favor with that power structure. So it's nice to see him take their little shots at Rahm.
Well, then why is he doing this? If he is part of the Democratic machine, which I believe he is, why is he going against Rahm? I was pleasantly surprised.
Rahm had no use for Quinn. Rahm didn't help Quinn, and Quinn knows that. And Quinn's a populist. Quinn is. He should be at train stations passing out petitions to build windmills. I mean, that's his capacity. Anything beyond that is a gross overstatement of his ability, as I think we all learned during his 5 ignominious years as governor.
What I hated about Pat Quinn during the last election cycle, he traipsed out a Jane Byrne who was in a wheelchair. She looked awful. She had no business being in the public eye, trying to use her to garner the female vote. Shame on him. That was embarrassing.
I mean, shamelessness is the calling card of the Chicago Democrat power structure. Chuck in Delavan, Wisconsin.
Freedom of the press, religion, peaceably to assemble. He forgot the one about the redress of government, the right to petition it. This guy was like, he believes in that. It's been here. It's been here since the government's been here. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Chuck. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Quinn has no standing. He has no constituency. So
he said that he's not going to run for governor yet.
Yeah.
Which means stand by. Don't hold your breath, but he may get back into the political scene soon.
Well, of course he will. What else is he going to do?
Well, he said
practice law.
Well, no,
please.
That's what he's joined a law firm, and he said that he's volunteering. But when pressed, what organizations, what youth groups are you helping? He would not answer the question.
Didn't you sit next to him at the Cubs playoff game?
I sat in front of him. Thank you.
It was me. It was like Connect Four. It was like you. It was like Cullerton,
behind me,
Quinn, and Ronnie Woo Woo.
No, Andre Dawson.
Oh,
Andre Dawson was 5 seats away. Governor Quinn was right behind him, and everyone came up and asked Andre Dawson for his autograph, and not one person asked Governor Quinn for his autograph. But he looked like the common everyday man. I mean, you wouldn't really know it was him unless you looked hard enough. And then John Cullerton was behind us.
It's easy to pick up Pat Quinn. He's the guy that looks like he slept in his suit.
Every single one of them should go to jail.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, mostly cloudy, windy, and a lot colder. 31 degrees right now, going up to a high of 36. So winter has arrived again. And then tonight into the 20s we go. And tomorrow, breezy with clouds, yielding to some sun, a high of 31. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Inbound Edens Expressway, it's slow now from Toohey to the junction. It's 23 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound fine at 19. The Kennedy, just about 21 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Mount Eisenhower, there's a delay at Anaheim to Harlem. 34 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 30. Stevenson has a 5-minute delay from Central to Kedzie. The Ryan, delays are from 95th to 43rd in the locals. The express lane delays start past that. There was an earlier overturned truck, still some steel on the right side. And the slow again from the Stevenson on into downtown, 30 minutes, 95th to the loop. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 25 minutes. I-80 to the merge, eastbound Adams Tollway. So Roselle to Meacham and Arlington Heights Road to Lee. There was some earlier concrete debris near the Des Plaines Oasis. It appears to have cleared to the right side. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Guys, Christmas is coming this year, so go with a win-win. Give her something that will make her feel hot and heat up your holiday. The super warm, world-famous Hoodie Footy Pajama by Pajamagram. Because let's face it, it's hard to be hot when she's freezing cold. The Hoodie Footy is the ultimate solution. It combines the warmth of a hoodie with the coziness of footy pajamas. Remember those? Head-to-toe warmth means she'll be hot in no time. You can find all Hoodie Footy styles at pajamagram.com. Each Hoodie Footy has a drawstring hood. Perhaps most important, though, it is the full zip front. Oh, yes. Imagine getting to open that. Wow. Especially if you opt for the sweet and sexy gift set. Includes a Hoodie Footy and sexy midnight fantasy. Buy both today at pajamagram.com and you will save $60. You don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging. Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. And also, too, you can check out at pajamagram.com. There's some gifts for your dogs and cats in the family and your children. I remember one year Pajamagram was gracious enough to give myself and my two boys and my cat matching pajamas. There was a really cute Christmas card photo. So go to pajamagram.com.
I'm horrified.
I know. Or, Dan, right now you can be caller number what? Caller number
4.
At 312-642-5600. Caller number 4 right now will win a $100 gift certificate to pajamagram.com. Caller number 4, 312-642-5600, and you'll get your $100 gift certificate to pajamagram.com.
Yeah, that is happening for real. Yeah.
Have you been getting the runaround on a mortgage modification application? Underwater with your mortgage? Well, you'd be not alone. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of other people in the same boat with you. My name is Lou Bridges. My partner, Scott Owen, and I put together a law firm. One of the things we do is help people with modifications, only we don't just submit an application. Through proprietary software that we have access to, we determine what program or programs your loan is eligible for and what it would take to qualify you for those programs under the regulations. We work with our team of people, paralegals and clerks, and we put together everything, and then we submit the application for modification to the servicing bank. Only then we're not asking them, we're telling them this is the modification program our client has chosen from among those that we have confirmed they qualify for, their loan is eligible for under the regulations that you will give. And you must give because the net present value is far greater for the owner of the mortgage. So servicer, thank you for the modification. No more runarounds. Give us a call. We'll give you a free consultation.
224-513-1231.
There's nothing better than turning up the music of Old Blue Eyes and letting the hits of one of the best crooners in history bounce off the walls. And Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville is going to host the party. Sunday, December 20th, get to Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville for the Ron Hawking Christmas Show and celebrate Frank's 100th birthday. See this amazing singer and impressionist while you swing through musical highlights of a man once dubbed the most popular entertainer of the 20th century. And if that isn't enough, Rat Pack flashbacks will accent this amazing festivity. Tickets for the Ron Hawking Christmas Show and anniversary celebration start at $35, and you can also go VIP Frank style for $75. So book your Sunday night 6:30 on December 20th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. Call 847-549-1972 for tickets or visit fuelroom.com. That's 847-549-1972 or fuelroom.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Everyone's doing it, Dan, becoming a business benefactor with AM 560, The Answer. Here's what you do. $2,500. It's tax deductible. All of the money goes to our charity, Feed the Children. And as a way of saying thank you, we give you 40. I mean, can you imagine 40 60-second commercials?
I can imagine.
To run prime time Monday through Friday right here on AM 560, The Answer. To become a part of this program, call Michael Mann directly. 847-871-1527. Time is running out. Really, slots are filling up quickly. We have a new business benefactor, Germ Busters. Love that one. JRC Dedicated Trucking, Shorto Finn and Rosinski Law, KG Auto Works, Midwest Siding Supply, Thulin and Associates, Euro Partners, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, so we thank you in advance for your generosity in helping us reach our goal to feed 18,000 children this holiday season.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
There were times I was finding myself almost falling asleep at the wheel, that I had to pull over. That's the first thing I noticed, that hasn't happened since I've been taking Balance of Nature. I'm in sales, so I do a lot of walking during the day that would tire me out. I'm not as fatigued. I feel good.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
When you buy a new house, you don't buy the first one you see. When you sell your house, you don't choose the first real estate broker you hear about. You choose the agent backed by the most powerful brand in real estate, and that agent is Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. Ed doesn't need to offer gimmicks like promising to buy your home because he can't sell it or 24-hour listing agreements. Ed does offer the promise of hard work and an aggressive, innovative marketing plan to sell your home. The most compelling reason to call RE/MAX Professionals is the best. Ed Lukasik Jr. has closed over 1,600 homes since 2008, giving him the knowledge and experience most agents can't obtain in their entire careers. The average real estate agent closes 7 homes a year. Ed sold over 229 listings just the past year alone. So make the right choice. Choose RE/MAX Professionals to list your home. Get an in-person market analysis straight from Ed. 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals. RE/MAX Professionals.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, in terms of the list of colleges that Eli and Peyton are not allowed to attend, Yale's already on the list.
Oh, yeah.
And Yale's on the list, you'll recall, because of this performance from one Geraldine Luther. Remember that name? She's a senior at Yale.
Well, she was angry, right?
I want her to live in infamy. Geraldine Luther castigating the head of the residential college that she lives at Yale for the policy or the lack of a policy regulating Halloween costumes. This is the reaction to the lack of a policy she likes about Halloween costume, providing those safe spaces that are so popular.
The exception is because other people have rights too, not just you.
Walk away. Walk away. Interrupt me. It doesn't deserve to be listened to. Unsafe space here for all. Be quiet. For all human students. Do you understand that? As your position as master, it is your job to create a place of comfort and home for the students that live in Silliman. You have not done that. By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that?
No, I don't agree with that.
Then why the did you accept the position?
Because
Who
I have
hired you?
I wanted to smack her so badly across the face.
That was her talking to
a professor, right?
Nicholas Christakis, who's one of the professors he's married to, Erica Christakis. They're 2 professors that also serve as the heads of that residential college. Fortunately, the Yale administration had the courage to not terminate them and did nothing, of course, to that unruly student. Well, here's now this. You have a little bit of Penn and Teller play at Yale. This by Fox News' Amy Horowitz, who went to Yale circulating a petition to repeal the First Amendment.
What?
A circulating petition, and you'll hear explicitly to repeal the First Amendment. He reminds Yale students what the First Amendment is And here's some of the reactions he got at one of our nation's best universities, the university that has produced 5 presidents and 10 Supreme Court justices.
So what we're calling for is to repeal the First Amendment.
I think this is fantastic.
Okay.
I absolutely agree.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you.
I'll sign it for you guys.
All right, I appreciate it.
I appreciate what you're trying to do.
I think the Constitution should be one big safe space, right? I mean, hurt people's feelings should not be protected speech.
Yeah, I totally agree with where you're at.
Because I think it's a living, breathing document, the Constitution.
Yeah,
it was literally not written in stone.
Yeah.
And the guys who wrote it, they were slave owners.
Yeah, that's true.
What do they know about how we live today? So we want to change it.
In the immortal words of Ronald Reagan, if that's our future, I'm selling my bonds.
Hey, experience something completely different this Christmas season. Take your loved one to hear the music of Frank Sinatra and the rest of the Rat Pack from award-winning entertainer and impressionist Ron Hawking. He's really good. I've seen him a number of times. And this Christmas spectacular will be taking place one night only, Sunday, December 20th, at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. To learn more, visit 560theanswer.com. Search for the keyword Sinatra. And right now, be caller number 10 to win a pair of tickets. Call this number. You know it. You love it. 312-642-5600. Caller number 10 right now wins a pair of tickets to see Ron Hawking at the Fuel Room in Libertyville, Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville on Sunday, December 20th. Good luck. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Wheaton College professor who put on a hijab to stand in solidarity with Muslims is put on leave. Right call, wrong call at Wheaton College in my hometown. We'll have it at 6:36.
Yes, we'll take your calls then. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Defense Secretary Ash Carter taking heat this morning. Criticized for using a personal email account for government business during his first months at the Pentagon. According to the New York Times, Carter was still using that account even after the Hillary Clinton email scandal began making headlines. Baltimore prepping for demonstrations today after a mistrial was declared in the trial of a police officer charged in the death of Freddie Gray. Gray family attorney Bill Murphy.
Now, I understand that the judge has ordered the parties to appear before the administrative judge and that the state will be seeking a new trial on behalf of Mr. Porter. So this saga is not over.
Jurors could not reach a verdict on any of the charges against William Porter. GOP frontrunner Donald Trump admits he's been a little tough on his opponents and perhaps a little divisive.
I would like to see the Republican Party come together, and I've been a little bit divisive in the sense that I've been hitting people pretty hard.
A little bit, yeah.
Trump made an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel last night. The president will travel to San Bernardino, California, Friday, visiting privately with families impacted by the recent terror attacks there. The terror attacks in Paris and San Bernardino have Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell this morning talking about revisiting the wiretapping issue. McConnell says recent attacks have raised questions about whether it was wise to limit the NSA's authority in listening on communications. Classes go on as scheduled in Texas and Miami, in spite of some threats against school districts in both states. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel expected to meet with the Justice Department today, part of a civil rights probe into the city's police department. And the Illinois budget impasse now in month 6 at the center of discussions during another meeting between legislative leaders and Republican Governor Bruce Rauner today. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler 24 and the Bulls win over Memphis 98-85. The White Sox acquire third baseman Todd Frazier from the Reds in a 3-team deal. And the news, a service of the city of Chicago and Cook County. Suspicious activity can be found anywhere. Help keep communities safe. Call 855-RPRT-2S4. If you see something, say something from the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and the Cook County Department of Homeland Security. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity wants the president to take action.
His whole presidency has involved the distortion of words. And if the choice is between believing what Obama said last night versus the previous, 7 years of his presidency, I'm going with the 7 years of his presidency. He didn't announce any major initiative to take on ISIS.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Cornerstone National Bank believes trust, service, and relationship is the foundation of a business banking partnership. Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company, where you belong. Visit cornerstonenb.com. Member FDIC.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right. As if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Harris-Nuon. I'm Dr. Amy and Associates. We take a team approach to your care. As an integrative and holistic healthcare practice, we look at the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. We've got a wonderfully talented team of providers, family medicine, chiropractic, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, counselors, psychiatrists that's centered on your health and your wellness. We'll blend the best of Western medicine with the best of Eastern medicine. There's a time and a place for all forms of healing, and that's what we specialize in.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
6:35 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound Adams Tollway, I-90, it's slow going. Roselle Road to Meacham and Arlington Heights Road to Lee. Earlier, there was some concrete debris which caused flat tires in that area. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Edens, 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 19, the Kennedy, 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 26. Eisenhower is now 45 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound 33. Stevenson, 44 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, 28 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 425. Traffic service, Cabela's. Hurry in for Cabela's Christmas sale. Hoffman Estates in Hammond, Indiana. Shop Saturday, 8 a.m. doorbusters for amazing deals on all your favorite brands. Or get the gift that always fits, Cabela's gift cards. Don't miss the Cabela's Christmas sale. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Cloudy, windy, and colder today. High near 36. 32 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox River Periodontics, Chicagoland specialist with dental implants. To get your smile back, visit implantsforme.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You can give us a call on the Turnkey.pro answer line. That's 312-642-5600. You can send us a text on the Turnkey.pro text line at 64636. You just type in DA and then your comment. Or, are you ready for this? You can call or email us directly from the AM 560 app on your smartphone. The question is Wheaton College right to place on leave one political science professor named Larisha Hawkins for announcing via Facebook that she stands in solidarity with Muslims because, quote, they, like me, a Christian, are people of the book.
What?
I love my Muslim neighbor because he or she deserves love by virtue of his or her human dignity. Okay, no problem. I stand in religious solidarity with Muslims because they, like me, a Christian, are people of the book. And as Pope Francis stated last week, we worship the same God. The issue was not posting on Facebook, Professor Larisha Hawkins posting a picture of herself on Facebook with the hijab saying, I stand in solidarity because they're deserving of human dignity. That wasn't the issue. The issue is the statement she made that, as Pope Francis stated last week, we worship the same God. Because Wheaton College is an evangelical Christian college and expects its faculty, as well as its students, to adhere to its faith standards, including biblical standards, and Muslims are not people of the book, and common understanding among evangelicals though they do descend from Abraham, they do not worship the same God. According to Islam, Allah neither begets nor is begotten, a line explicitly rejecting the Trinity. So that's a problem for the evangelical faith tradition. And that's a problem at Wheaton College because of the standards they set. And again, professors sign a faith statement. Students sign a faith statement. I think they still have some version of what they had when I was growing up, which is for students, no drinking.
No dancing. I remember that.
Drinking, smoking, dancing, swearing.
I think they are able to dance now, but not drink or swear or smoke. But Dr. Hawkins...
And just a point of order.
Yeah.
I really wish they wouldn't dance. So
Why?
just because you can't.
Because they bite their lower lip.
Yeah,
like
just-
Yeah. Have you ever seen Marcus dance? Our program director? He
No,
went to
I-
Wheaton College.
I don't
It's
want
not
to
a good
see
look.
that. I don't want to see that either.
Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and
Yeah.
pants and
See, that's the problem. It's not like Footloose. You know, it's
Uh-huh.
not. You know, you have this vision. It's going to be great choreography. That's not what happens. Stop dancing.
Okay, well, Dr. Hawkins came out yesterday and spoke to the members of the media. She still had her hijab on, and she was wearing that. And she said she was going to keep it on until Christmas to show a form of solidarity. But as you mentioned, that's not the reason why she was fired.
This Advent, I'm standing with my Muslim neighbors out of my love for Jesus and the love I believe he has for all of the world.
Not fired. What? Not fired.
Suspended.
Put
So-
on leave.
Yeah, so she's not put on leave, but she is not welcome back for the entire second semester. But she seemed, to understand because she did admit that, yes, I did sign this statement of faith, and I understand why the university is doing this to me. She said that.
Yes, they're not doing anything to her. She's done it to herself. Just to be clear, to restate this, because I want to be very clear about this. This is not about her making the statement that she stands in solidarity with Muslims. This is about her professing bad theology in the evangelical tradition at a college that expects its faculty to have and practice good theology, and they sign a faith statement as a condition of their employ as a predicate to all of this.
Yeah, but still the students on campus who love her, she teaches political science. She's been there for years. Dan, I hate to say this, but she's the only black female tenured professor at Wheaton College. So, of course, well, the kids brought that up yesterday. But they prayed first and then they protested.
Reinstate Doc Hawk! Reinstate Doc Hawk!
And it was obviously a peaceful protest. Some were holding signs.
Reinstate who?
Doc Hawk. Dr. Hawkins.
I see what they did.
But everybody knows her, and really, she's well known, and people rave about her. What a great
it's a
professor
small
she
school.
is.
Everyone's well known. Yes.
All right. What if she was bad? I don't think people would care. But
she wouldn't be employed.
But
Wheaton College is a good liberal arts school.
Some don't want her to go.
We love and support Dr. Hawkins and see her as an essential part of our community.
Not go, but they don't want her suspended for an entire semester.
It's not about theology, it's about the act of love and the act of kindness, and treating people of different faiths as humans before we treat them as issues.
Yeah, that sounds like the sophistry. That sounds like a statement that President Obama would issue, that kid. Maybe that kid should be put on leave from Wheaton College too. Well, honestly, he does. He seriously. I'm Catholic. I'm not evangelical, but he seriously doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what he signed for the statement he just made, and it's these straw man arguments in cases like this that are so tiresome to me. Is anyone suggesting that persons of the Muslim faith, persons of the Islamic faith, are not human, shouldn't be treated with human dignity? Or shouldn't be loved as our neighbor, just like anybody else of any faith tradition? It's just silliness.
Well, some students think our First Amendment right is under attack. You can't post something on Facebook. There's repercussions.
I think that Wheaton professors should be able to speak on Facebook without fear of retribution.
There is no First Amendment right to Facebook.
Okay.
That's number one.
But isn't Facebook a form of free speech, freedom of expression? But if you sign an agreement that trumps it?
Facebook is a forum. And you can say whatever you want, but can you say whatever you want without consequence? No.
Are you saying with free speech comes a great deal of responsibility?
Yeah, this is so juvenile. This is so basic. I'm surprised, actually, at the quality of the responses from some of these Wheaton College students because they're normally rather intelligent. I know that's not...
I have intelligent for you.
Yeah, I know that there's others that disagree, that actually understand both the Constitution and the faith statement they signed as a condition of admission into Wheaton College.
And here they are.
To say that we worship the same God is completely not true, and it misrepresents the student body, it misrepresents the institution itself.
She signed a statement of faith, and she must hold herself accountable to that statement of faith.
So, but how can she be reinstated? Delete that Facebook posting and then take off the jihad? Or keep on the jihad, but that's not the issue. The jihad's not the hijab, excuse me. But when can she come back?
I don't know. I'm not the president of Wheaton College. I would suggest that she could probably come back if she decides to stop espousing bad theology inconsistent with the faith statement.
Yeah,
she
God
signed.
is not Allah.
I just don't think it's that complicated. By the way, a Wheaton College story, just to understand the equal application here. Do you remember the story? This is about 7 or 8 years ago. Ken Graham, not the quarterback that went to Wheaton North and played in the NFL. Gramm, I recall. He's a professor at Wheaton College, was there for 20 years. Was terminated after he got divorced because he would not confer with Wheaton College higher-ups about the reason for his divorce so they could understand whether his divorce was a legitimate divorce as provided by Scripture, adultery or abandonment, or it was not legitimate. So he was fired. And when he was fired, after 20 years at Wheaton College, because of his choice not to confer and explain what happened with his marriage, he said, no, I understand. I knew this was going to happen. I signed a statement to abide certain standards. I understood what the protocols were. I'm choosing not to, and I know there are consequences to that. That's what an adult does. There's no right to be a professor at Wheaton College. These are private institutions that should be able to offer their own guidelines for hiring as well as for continued employment. And some people are adults that understand the rules and understand what they agree to, and other people are children who want to negotiate after the fact when they do something they know was prescribed as a condition of their employment in the first place. Now, there are all these bedwetters that are on college campuses now, and you're hearing from some of them even at Wheaton College.
You can give us a call on our turnkey.pro answer line, 312-642-5600.
Mary Ann and Wilmette, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. While I understand that it is a private institution and they can do what they want, and I'm totally up with that. That's cool. They can do whatever. But I think it would have been, I don't know, funnier or better, or just looked at her and said, oh, nice hat, and then moved on and said, what's the assignment for today? And then just sort of ignored it and then maybe not have given her the attention, and then it would have just been kind of a non-event.
Well, you can't ignore the Facebook post she made about the faith. I mean,
she wasn't suspended because of what she was wearing. She
Correct.
was suspended because of what she wrote.
Correct. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Mary Ann.
Thanks. Yeah.
And here's the other thing, too, that I find interesting in these cases. People that are not particularly religious, but or even some people that profess to be, and suggest for religious tolerance. I understand people of faith. I respect people's different faith traditions, as long as they're not actually serious about their faith. When they're serious about their faith, when they hold themselves to standards or other people to standards, that's when, whoa. And that's kind of what you have going on with some of the responses in this case. Megan in Evanston.
Hey, guys, just Dan, to echo your point, this is a case of liberals wanting it both ways. The lady signs the agreement, then she's a weasel. She puts something up on Facebook. She doesn't make a proclamation. And so now you have all the students feeling bad. It's enough already.
Yeah, but she knew what she was doing, and even yesterday at that press conference, she did, similar to what Graham said, that, yeah, I know that what I did is wrong.
Right.
So I understand why they're suspending me. But then where do you go from here? If she's such a beloved professor, people want her back. I mean, again, if she erases the Facebook posting, will that make it all go away? Or she'll take her suspension, she'll take her punishment, lick her wounds, and then come back in the fall.
Maybe. I mean, that's up to those individuals in charge at Wheaton College, as far as I'm concerned, and it's up to her to some extent to decide, what she wants to do. If she wants to abide the agreement that she made, or if she doesn't, and then perhaps they part company. That's okay.
This story has gained national attention. This story is being seen around the world. So, did she do this for publicity? Yes.
Greg in Sugar Grove.
Morning. This is going to throw a bit of a wide net, but I think it's kind of a systemic trend that we have. Well, she has the right to free speech to do it, to enter into that agreement, but doesn't want to deal with the consequences. To throw a much bigger picture, to me at least, it seems kind of similar to the major crisis that we have with state and public unions, where they had a right to enter into the agreement. They had a right to lobby the state lobbyists to find these incredibly rich pensions. But when it creates the consequence of bankrupting the city or the state, they don't want to have the consequences of those actions. So again, they have the right to do it, but don't we have a natural set of consequences that come with all our actions?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Greg. I mean, this is just the classic, all that matters is my feelings, all that matters is inputs, not outputs. This is what Oscar Wilde meant when he said all bad poetry springs from genuine emotion. I understand the feeling. I understand you like your professor. But I also understand that if your professor doesn't abide a commitment they made, that there are consequences to that. What's complicated? I don't think there's much complicated about this. Tom and Oswego.
Hi, good morning, Dan and Amy. Yeah, this is not complicated. It's about leadership. And the students eventually, if they see the leadership and the resolution in the leadership, they will understand it. My son was a junior in a Christian high school out here in Aurora, and he was kicked out as a junior for drinking. Now, when that happened, there was a big uproar in the school. It wasn't just my son, it was others. A lot of us disagreed with it. We thought the rules were draconian, but they were the rules, and we eventually understood, and even my son became a greater man because of it.
Thanks.
And a lot of those kids went on to Wheaton College. I think, again, it all comes down to leadership and following the rules, and kids will finally understand, and good things will come from it.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Today, mostly cloudy, windy, a lot colder than yesterday. You're going to definitely need to grab your winter gear. 31 degrees right now at O'Hare. A high today of 36 degrees. Then tonight, you're going to have to turn that furnace on because, of course, I haven't turned mine on yet. A low of 24 degrees. And tomorrow, breezy with clouds yielding to some sun, a high in the low 30s. Let's get the travel times on the roadways. Are they low, Jim Talamonte?
Yes, Amy. We have ambulances responding in Schiller Park. There's a crash eastbound Irving Park at Mannheim. The inbound Kennedy is getting heavier, 33 minutes O'Hare to downtown, up on 28. Eden's 23 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Eisenhower now 49 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, up on 33. Stevenson 46 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The ride is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, stop and go from Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. Northbound Veterans Memorial, a little heavy from Maple to the Reagan Tollway. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report, brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Economic reports, corporate developments, the Fed, crude oil prices, all forces influencing action in the market. Those stories next.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-642-9531. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-642-9531 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-642-9531 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-642-9531.
We'll see whether stocks rally for a fourth straight session. Wall Street investors yesterday undaunted by the Fed's first interest rate hike in more than 9 years. Investors reacting today to corporate developments and economic reports. Shares of FedEx and Oracle sharply higher in extended trading after both companies topped earnings targets. Investors also analyzing reports on weekly jobless claims, Philadelphia area manufacturing, and the index of leading economic indicators. We'll see whether the Fed's interest rate hike continues to boost both the dollar and bond yields. Any further strengthening of the dollar could push crude prices even lower. A larger than expected jump in crude oil supplies pushing January crude below $36 a barrel. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
My brother Chris is allergic to talking about retirement. Bring up his future and you'll get glazed eyes and awkward answers. Don't believe me? Let's try it. Chris, when will you retire?
Ha! You darn right I like nachos.
See what I mean? Chris, do you have a retirement account?
It's gotta be the right kind of cheese.
One last time. Are you ever going to retire?
And don't forget jalapenos. I love jalapenos.
Good for you, buddy.
Avoiding the retirement conversation? At the mutual fund store, we get it, and our advisors are here to help. Whether you're storing 401k statements in a shoebox, can't tell a traditional from a Roth IRA, or include piggy bank as one of your retirement accounts, there are no judgments here. We'll simply sit down with you one-on-one, talk about where you're at, and help you put a plan in place to get you where you want to be tomorrow. Let's get the conversation started today with a free consultation.
Hi, I'm Steve Check with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft, guys, the holidays are now upon us. Do you want the gift that keeps on giving? Yes, you do. How about giving yourself a healthier life and more energy to do the things you want to do with family and friends? If you've been feeling like a grumpy old man lately, it's time to get your testosterone level checked at Low T Center. I did. It's quick, easy, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results within minutes. Plus, their services are covered by most health insurance. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy and can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. Low T Center even has convenient and flexible hours. So give yourself the gift that keeps on giving this December. Call Low T Center now and tell them Dan Prof sent you. Call today, 630-409-4305. That number, 630-409-4305, or go to lowtcenter.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
If you're a small business owner or if you do the make marketing decisions for your company, we want you to listen up. We still have a few available slots in our business benefactor program. With this program, any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Feed the Children, that's a charity we've partnered up with again this year, we will give you, as a way of saying thanks, 40 one-minute commercials that will run prime time right here on AM 560, The Answer. To become a part of a business benefactor program, call our sales manager right now. He's standing by, waiting for your phone call. His name is Michael Mann, in case you haven't heard, and his number is 847-871-1527. Again, that's 847-871-1527. All of the money will help the needy, as well as help you take your business to the next level. Michael Mann, call him now, 847-871-1527.
Imagine what you would do if your business had a surplus of utility savings. More than 30% of your building's annual energy use comes from your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical service provider, understands that you have better things to do with your money. There are new energy incentives offered by Chicagoland's largest utility provider that could help your business save hundreds, even thousands of dollars every month in utility costs. As a preferred partner, Air Comfort works closely with your business. They will identify the opportunities to reduce energy usage, select, purchase, and install equipment, and even help you complete and submit your incentive paperwork. Start saving on your utilities by calling now for your free consultation at 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900 or online at aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
You've heard me talking about upstream-ideas.com. You got to check it out. Each week you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current. This week with Congressman Peter Roskam. That's our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising program, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that are not heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to purchase a home after filing bankruptcy or when your home was foreclosed, you called me and I helped you. When you tried to purchase a home you couldn't afford, you called me and I advised you to purchase a less expensive home. If you want to talk with me about a mortgage, please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email David at perldavid.com. That's David at perldavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
CPS CEO Forrest Claypool offers a new contract to Chicago teachers. We'll have on Jesse Sharkey to explain. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a grand jury indicts Officer Jason Van Dyke in the murder of Laquan McDonald. Illinois hires a firm to help in their athletic director search. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The day after a mistrial was declared in Baltimore.
I don't think either side won or lost.
That's Freddie Gray's family's attorney. Hopeful a second jury can reach a verdict in the case against the first of 6 police officers charged in Gray's death. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Baltimore.
All quiet at dawn here in Baltimore, but there were some protests and a couple of arrests last night when people found out there was a hung jury in the case of Officer William Porter.
See, they planning on letting him go. That's why they call all these extra police in and all this other stuff.
The judge will hold a meeting in his chambers today to discuss setting a new trial date. The panel spent 3 days deliberating manslaughter, misconduct, and other charges that could have sent Porter to prison for 25 years, but could not reach a unanimous decision. Dave.
Rachel, former neighbor of San Bernardino terrorist Saeed Farouk may be charged today. That's what other media reports say. Police have said Marquez purchased the guns used in the attack. This is a congressional hearing today. Will probe the government's vetting process, letting people into the country. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Members of the House Oversight Committee want to know if the U.S. missed secret jihadist post between Tashfeen Malik and her husband on social media prior to the San Bernardino attack. Malik came to the U.S. on a K-1 fiancé visa, passing multiple background checks and at least 2 in-person interviews. The committee is expected to talk about how closely the government looks at the backgrounds of people who come to the U.S., who want to come to the U.S., especially how social media posts are used in vetting those applications, Dave.
Tony, just like in Los Angeles the other day, 2 Indiana school districts have closed today on reported threats directed at schools there. This in the Danville school area in Indiana. Ash Carter, the defense secretary, is in Baghdad for another day of talks.
Here to explore with them how we can do more to accelerate the defeat of ISIL.
Carter's getting attention after the Pentagon acknowledged he used personal email to conduct business. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 32 degrees, winds out of the west at 15, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel expected to meet with the Justice Department today, part of a civil rights investigation into the city's police department.
We welcome them. They're here. We're going to fully cooperate, everybody. And it is in our self-interest as a city that they're here.
Meantime, the release of the video of black teenager Laquan McDonald being fatally shot by a white officer has resulted in a grand jury indictment. The police officer facing 6 counts of first-degree murder and now has breathed new life into several families' efforts to bring attention to the police shooting of their loved ones. But this morning, Chicago Police Union President Dean Angelo is worried that all the pressure on authorities to find other cases could result in charges against officers who he says were rightfully cleared of any wrongdoing. Mayor Emanuel became emotional Wednesday as he promised action against the owners of the Southside warehouse where firefighter Daniel Capuano lost his life in a fire this week. AM 560's David Stewart picks up that end of the story.
Mayor Emanuel spoke with reporters about sitting with Capuano's wife in her kitchen after the fire, talking about their family. Emanuel said the warehouse owner will answer for doing work without permits and removing the elevator from the shaft where Capuano fell to his death.
And 3 kids are going to grow up without their father because he broke the law. I know what we're going to do in the sense of the case referred to the state's attorney.
Fire officials say there was no barrier, rope, or partition around the opening to that shaft.
I hope that gentleman carries that the rest of his life on his conscience. The Capuano children deserve better than what he did.
David Stewart, Chicago.
Cook County Medical Examiner's Office confirming the remains of a toddler found in a Chicago lagoon are that of a missing Rockford boy. DNA testing released last month showed a match with the 2-year-old Kyrian Knox, but that has now been confirmed. Knox was last seen in August. Several body parts were discovered Labor Day weekend in a Garfield Park lagoon. The University of Illinois says it's hired a search firm to help look for its new athletic director. Interim Chancellor Barbara Wilson saying the school's hired Los Angeles-based Korn Ferry to aid in that search. Taxpayers will pay the firm $140,000. Meantime, Wilson says that the athletic department needed to turn the page following accusations of mistreatment of football players and women's basketball players by coaches. Chicago sports, Jimmy Butler, 24, and the Bulls win over Memphis, 98-85. White Sox make a trade, a 3-team trade, and come away with third baseman Todd Frazier. The news service of the city of Chicago and Cook County. Suspicious activity can be found anywhere. Keep our communities safe. Call 855-RPRT-2S4. If you see something, say something. From the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and the Cook County Department of Homeland Security. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders, as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers. End the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Assyrian and total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
In Chicago, it's 7:07. The news service of Cabela's. Hurry in for Cabela's Christmas sale in Hoffman Estates, Hammond, Indiana. Shop Saturday 8 a.m. with doorbusters for amazing deals on all of your favorite brands, or get the gift that always fits, Cabela's gift cards. Don't miss the Cabela's Christmas sale. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonti.
Like Schiller Park has a traffic mess this morning. A crash at Irving Park in Manheim has traffic jammed in that area near O'Hare. 2 ambulances have been called to the scene. Eden's inbound delays start at 2:30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy now 36 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. The Eisenhower 49 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. Stevenson 52 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Rhine 35 minutes. 95 to downtown. About Tri-State, slow Southwest Highway to LaGrange Road, Plainfield Road to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, eastbound Adams Tollway, stop and go from Barrington Road to Meacham. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy, windy, and colder, high 36. Then tonight, mostly cloudy and breezy, low 24. Tomorrow, breezy, with clouds giving way to some sun, high of 31. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
32 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by ExecutiveGreenCarpetCleaning.com. Get ready for the holidays by scheduling your carpet and upholstery cleaning today.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
This omnibus bill approves the president's request for increased refugee admissions. They elect people that they believe are going to take action to protect their security, their jobs, their wages, and what do they get? Bill that is worse than current law.
The feeling most people get when they hear Barack Obama's speech, I felt this thrill going up my leg.
The leg, is the thrill still there in the leg, or is it not? What's that?
Gonna help.
There's a movement going on, folks. This isn't just like, let's go and have a good time. Somebody said, oh, Trump's a great entertainer. That's a lot of bullshit. I'll tell you.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Chicago Teachers Union has voted to authorize a strike. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to strike. The strike could come, if it is going to come, as early as February, or perhaps more likely May. But it's a pending issue. Forrest Claypool, the toady du jour that heads up the Chicago Public School System, Ram appointed there.
He didn't look good lately. Is that catty on my part? But he looks exhausted.
No, it's exhausting to be a member of the Politburo. And he wants $500 million bailout from the state. And he's trying to make concessions. But the concession he won't make, which is, my understanding, the crux of the issue, we'll be enlightened on this in a minute, though, is the pension contribution. In 1981, CPS agreed to pick up 7% of the 9.4% that Chicago teachers contribute to their pensions, so that they only have to put in 2%. And that's been the deal for the last 34 years, and they wanted to continue, and CPS's position is they need to kick in a little bit more of their salary to their pensions. Pensions that turn out to be quite generous. It turns out that the average pension for a career teacher in Chicago who is retired in the last 5 years, $71,700, which is more in retirement than the average Chicago household income in employment. For more on this topic, we're now joined by the Vice President of the Chicago Teachers Union. He is Jesse Sharkey. Jesse, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, thanks for having me on.
So let's start there. Is the question, if CPS was not pushing for teachers to contribute more of their salary to their pension, would we be talking about the possibility of a strike?
The strike talk right now, and I think you were right to say that it's still a real possibility, not a sure thing, really has a lot to do also with the really deep fiscal crisis the district finds itself in, where they've got a $1 billion structural deficit and don't know how to fund the schools going forward. And they're talking about trying to solve that shortfall, that problem, on the backs of the employees, with 2/3 of $1 billion worth of cuts to their employees over the next several years. And so that's what's driving the crisis and underlies the pension issue.
So Forrest Claypool came out and just offered, he offered teachers, or just came out yesterday and said he doesn't want to lay off any teachers in the middle of the school year and give you fewer standardized tests and more teacher autonomy. What exactly does that mean, teacher autonomy?
There are a lot of quality of teaching and learning issues, which we've been talking about actually for the last year or so. That has to do with mandates for compliance paperwork, standardized tests that teachers have to spend a lot of time crunching data for. We're talking about tasks that can easily take as much time to perform as a teacher spends in front of students in a given day. So, we're talking about maybe 6 hours a day of planning, paperwork, lesson plans, compliance tasks, data analysis, et cetera, et cetera. And it's really onerous. So that's a welcome point that they're making. It's something that we've been saying for a while. I'm glad to hear that they're considering that.
So let me try this again. Is there a willingness by the teachers and the teachers union to give at all on the issue of pension contribution level?
The problem with what the district is doing is that the cut to pension pickup really just amounts to a cut in compensation, a 7% pay cut by July. And so while we're always open to negotiate about, what our contract looks like and how to make the schools work, to say that, we're going to threaten mass layoffs, and if you want to avoid the mass layoffs, the way to do that is take a 7% pay cut. So that's sort of a non-starter.
But you see why they're doing this, right? I mean, you understand the numbers.
I do, but I also understand that over the course of the last decade and a half, the district has systematically left revenue on the table. So, for example, there was a $45 million a year capital improvement tax, which they could do, which they never collected. This year they've started to do that. But again, over the course of the last decade and a half, that was worth well over $1 billion. There's been tax increment finance money that comes out of the school's tax base, but hasn't gone into the schools. You've had mayors that have appointed CEOs that have turned out to be corrupt. Big no-bid contracts. These things consistently bleed the school district of resources that they need. And then to turn around and say, well, we created a real financial mess for ourselves. We're not going to raise any kind of progressive, sustainable form of taxes. We're just going to try to solve the problem with cuts. It'll devastate the public schools.
It's not going to devastate the public schools. It may adjust the take-home pay of teachers marginally. I mean, we're talking about taxpayers spending about $175 million this fiscal year alone on the pension payments that you could argue should be made by teachers and CPS employees, and this whole pick-up 7% that CPS agreed to in 1981. 1981, it's 34 years ago. Is this a suicide pact? Only 300 employees in CPS, 30,000 plus employed today, worked for the district back in 1981. This is a deal that will just extend in perpetuity? There's no give regardless of the financial picture that you're painting where the district finds itself?
The issue, Dan, is that this became part of the way teachers are compensated. So, for a period of time in the 80s, the district didn't give raises. It gave pension pickup contributions instead. And they did that for a reason that was sufficient to them, and that they passed on to taxpayers. I mean, I understand why they did it. But now, the effect of cutting it now is a pay cut.
Yeah, but over that same three.
So you're saying we need to cut teachers' pay? Maybe that's what you're saying.
Well, but over the last 3 decades, I mean, the idea that should be in stasis forever. Over the last 3 decades, 3.5 decades, teacher salaries haven't been in stasis. They've certainly increased in real dollars. I mean, an average CPS teacher makes $75,000. They were making $75,000 in $1981 in 1981. So if that can change and go up, why can't the pension contribution change and go up?
You're right. The average teacher does make $75,000, and by the way, that should tell you something that's wrong with the snippet, the career teacher thing, which is the way that career teachers make high pensions is they then become principals. Teachers don't make $71,000 pension on a $75,000 salary, by the way.
Well, they do. They make 80% of last highest, and you have
no,
that.
They don't. That's not true.
You have that fund. You have that 3% COLA that compounds annually. We know the magic of compound interest, that you get back everything you put into the system, and it's not just teachers within your first couple years of retirement, which is why we have the unfunded pension liabilities in the city and the state that we do.
Well, first of all, look, Dan, you've got some of your facts wrong on teachers' pensions, but I mean,
okay. Well, enlighten me.
Yeah, tell me, us, the masses. So if you make $75,000 a year,
that's
average.
And you've been with the district for 10 years, what kind of pension? Well, when you retire, what kind of pension are you going to see?
If you retire after 34 years with a full pension, you make 75% of your pay at the end of your career. And by the way, many districts in the state do things where people can spike their pension and all their overtime counts and things like that. Teachers who don't get Social Security, this is their entire retirement.
Okay. The Social Security thing, I just have to stop you. I hear the Social Security argument all the time, and Jesse, that you max out at Social Security at just over $30,000. So does any teacher want to raise their hand and trade contributing to Social Security, which they don't do now, and getting Social Security instead of getting their pension? Who wants to raise their hand for that? No one. So let's be honest about which is the more generous system based on contributions in and benefits out.
I wasn't arguing that that Social Security is such a great retirement system. I'm just pointing out that that retirement and the pension that was promised to teachers and which we've paid into for the life of our whole career is all we have. And you're talking about public servants that have worked in difficult conditions in the schools for an entire career and have a pension that was promised to us by state constitution. And I understand, but I also understand that for 13 out of the last 20 years, the district hasn't made its contribution. And the normal cost contribution of the district's portion of the pension is about $200 million. The unpaid liabilities that come from mispayments, et cetera, are $500 million. So yes, the district has a pension funding problem, but it's one that's been largely created by their unwillingness to actually pay what they've owed in the past.
So, Jesse, we have a 2-week break coming up. Teachers told me that when they get back, they're only going to receive half of their pay for that time off and that first paycheck. Is that something new? Or has that always been around?
The way it works is there's a 2-week break. One of those 2 weeks is unpaid. The other one of which is a week of vacation pay. Teachers get 2 weeks of vacation pay a year.
So you guys rolled Tiny Dancer a few years ago when you struck. So you expect that we're going to see it? I thought you'd like that.
I'm sorry, you guys are funny. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I try. I try to make it to add some levity to the conversation. So you going to steamroll them again like you did a few years ago? I mean, why not, right?
I think that Ron's having a real sort of crisis of legitimacy right now.
Oh, no, you think?
It's tied to, it's tied to obviously the aftermath of the release of the Laquan McDonald video, but more broadly, you just can't have a city where there's no investment in public housing, no investment in public transportation, no investment in public schools, et cetera. And now some of those things are starting to come to a head. I really do think that when you look at the conditions in the public schools, there was just a sit-in among students at a school called DuSable, which is one of the historically black high schools in the city, behind the firing of a librarian. We have 2 librarians in all historically black high schools in Chicago combined. Rom, according to the website of the lab school where Rom sends his kids, they have 13 librarians in that one school alone. And, one of the things Rom says is that, I want for all children what my children have.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great idea. But if you systematically starve the public schools, it's going to produce a crisis in the city.
Well,
I see it coming.
Yeah, we have a different solution for how you get kids the same access to educational opportunities that Rom's kids have at lab schools.
Cutting our pensions isn't going to get it done. I hate to say, guys.
But let me ask you this. I know you're not a school choice proponent, so let's just set that aside for a second. Your colleague, one of your colleagues in Atlanta, the head of the teachers union in Atlanta, Verdelia Turner, said of Atlanta being named one of the friendliest cities in America for school choice, quote, "That's like saying Chicago is the most murder-friendly city in the nation." Do you think that comparison is a bit overheated, or was that a comparison you'd like to stand by?
Well, I'm just hearing it now for the first time, and I've never heard of or met Verdelia Johnson, but
Turner.
Sorry. Look, I'll say that the idea that we're just going to introduce choice into the schools and that's somehow going to fix up the problem, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The place where people like the public schools in the suburbs. And they've got a school they can go to. It's a good school. And that's what we want in a city.
But comparing school choice proponents to murderers, is that fair, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe this person highlights as a radio personality prone to.
Yes, right. Nice try. All right, Jesse Sharkey, Vice President of the Chicago Teachers Union. Jesse, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
31 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of just 36 degrees. It will be windy out there and a lot colder than we're used to. And then tonight, temperatures dip into the 20s. Let's see if there's any dips in the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
There's a big traffic mess near O'Hare, Amy. It's in Schiller Park at Irving Park in Manheim due to a crash. Edenbound Edens Expressway, 25 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound the same. The Kennedy now 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. The Eisenhower's 54 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. Stevenson 58 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I slept wonderfully last night, all thanks to MyPillow. It conforms to your neck and back. It helps if you have chronic snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies. Plus, it's washable. It keeps its shape and gives you support where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. And right now, we still have the buy one, get one free offer. This won't last forever, folks. And buy one, get one free. Keep one for yourself. Give one as a gift. There's also a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you can try MyPillow risk-free. Go to MyPillow.com, type Amy in the promo code, AMY, or simply call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
Hey, if your company manufactures or markets pharmaceuticals, biologics, medical devices, or APIs, you know the challenges of systems integration, FDA compliance, and staffing. To gain access to Chicagoland's top life sciences engineering, quality assurance, project management, regulatory, software, and validation professionals, you need the experts at Automated Systems, Inc. All of ASI's resources are degreed professionals with decades of industry experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For over a quarter of a century, ASI has excelled through a culture of execution and client success. For information about staffing or a no-obligation compliance or automation evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems toll-free at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Hey, if you need your carpet cleaned, your upholstery cleaned, there's still time before you have family and friends over for the holidays. Call our good friends at Executive Green Carpet Cleaning, 708-599-5151. Executive Green came to my house a few months ago, and I have to tell you, my carpets still look newly clean. No stains or kitty marks where I'm putting my tree this year. Executive Green's cleaning process is safe for your entire family. Get this, they use their own purified water and a non-toxic solution that leaves no sticky, chalky residue like the big box, yellow box company uses. At Executive Green Carpet Cleaning, they also have a no-risk guarantee promise that if you're not 100% satisfied, you will not pay for your service. So make your home beautiful for the holidays by scheduling now at 708-599-5151 or online at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com. Executive Green Carpet Cleaning, locally owned and operated since 1989. Executive Green Carpet Cleaning,
This is Michelle DeVal from DeVal Jewelers. Dennis and I want you to know that when you sell your diamonds, gold, silver, platinum, and estate jewelry to us, we will strive to give you the highest cash payment possible.
And all transactions are strictly confidential. There's absolutely no pressure. And like Michelle said, we can pay you 50% more by eliminating the middleman. Why? Because we are direct buyers.
We buy certified diamonds and engagement rings, 1/2 carat and above, broken and used gold jewelry, estate jewelry, gold and silver coins, and more. We really do understand the sentimental value and pledge to be considerate, knowledgeable, and private.
We have been Chicagoland's family jeweler for over 100 years. We take pride in having the perfect jewelry selection for every budget and taste preference.
We're just south of the Kennedy on Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights. Call us at 708-867-8200. That's 708-867-8200 or visit DAVALLE.com.
DeVal Jewelers, more bling
and less sting.
Coming up on
AM 560, The Answer.
Excuse me. Wow.
That's a lot of action there.
That was a hot mess.
Yeah.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The ornery Jed Babin from the Washington Times joins us to talk about the quality of the military strategery answers we got from GOP presidential candidates last night.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Prosecutors and attorneys for Baltimore police officer William Porter plan to meet in judges' chambers later today to discuss a
my
possible
wife, she knows me better than
Yesterday, a mistrial was declared after jurors couldn't decide whether Porter was responsible for the death of Freddie Gray, whose neck was broken while he was transported in a police van in April. Members of the House Oversight Committee plan to press administration officials later today on what safeguards are in place to ensure that would-be extremists are not eligible to legally enter the U.S. Kashfin Malik came to the U.S. on a K-1 fiancé visa in July of 2014 and passed multiple background checks. Many financial advisors are telling folks not to panic over the Federal Reserve's first interest rate hike in 9 years. L.A. advisor Richard Jones says he's telling clients to remember your goals. The Fed moved Wednesday to raise its benchmark rate from near record low near zero. The Fed has stressed that its pace of increases will be gradual. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is expected to meet with the Justice Department today, part of a civil rights investigation into the city's police department. The Illinois budget impasse now in month 6 will be at the center of discussions during another meeting between legislative leaders and Republican Governor Bruce Rauner later today. Chicago Public Schools will pay $280,000 to settle a suit by teachers who claim they were unfairly targeted after they became pregnant. O'Hare may provide travelers with connections to hundreds of cities across the globe, but that doesn't mean flyers like it. A new survey by J.D. Power ranks O'Hare near the bottom of the list of the 32 largest airports in the U.S. and Canada. O'Hare and the other airports were measured on 6 factors, including ease of check-in, ease of baggage pickup, and security checkpoint lines. Portland's airport ranked first. Midway was 13th. Chicago sports, NBA, Jimmy Butler 24 and the Bulls win over Memphis. The White Sox acquired Todd Frazier from the Reds to solidify third base. And the news a service of Cabela's. Hurry in for Cabela's Christmas sale in Hoffman Estates and Hammond, Indiana. Shop Saturday 8 a.m. doorbusters for amazing deals on all of your favorite brands or get the gift that always fits. Cabela's gift cards. Don't miss the Cabela's Christmas sale. 7:32 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
My wife, Helene, she knows me better than anybody on this planet. Ask her anything.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I just have one quick question. Is he always angry?
No. You know what? When we're at home, we're actually very quiet. He's not angry. I'm the one he has to calm me down half the time.
You're killing the image, Helene.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Don't listen to a damn word she says. I'm always pissed off.
Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is a must-have for all busy parents. With just one scan to the forehead, Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer takes your child's temperature quickly and accurately. Available at Walgreens.
Here's Dr. Howard, formulator of Balance of Nature, an all-natural, 100% organic fruit and vegetable supplement.
Did you know
40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Get real today with Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
7:34. Let's get an update on the roads now in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte. Let's get back to Jim in just a moment. Move on to our official Chicagoland weather forecast for the moment from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Cloudy, windy, and colder today. High 36. Cloudy, breezy, and 24 overnight. Breezy with clouds yielding to some sun. High 31 tomorrow. 19 tomorrow night, our coldest night of the winter season, and 33 on Saturday with plenty of sunshine. At 7:34, let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're watching the eastbound Adams Tollway. Traffic is pretty slow from Barrington to Meacham. Also a little heavy around the Des Plaines Oasis, where there was earlier some debris in the roadway. Northbound Tri-State, it's slow. 95th to 31st and 290 to North Avenue at the Edens. 25 minutes either way between Lake Hook and Montrose to Kennedy. Now 45 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. The Ike, 54 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. Stevenson, 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive and the Ryan. 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
32 at O'Hare, 33 along the lakefront, 33 at Midway. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Property Tax Show, Saturdays at 6 p.m., hosted by Brad Hayes, Chicagoland's property tax expert.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
So overnight, while you were sleeping, Paul Ryan cut a deal on an omnibus spending bill to the tune of $1.1 trillion. That does one or two good things. Probably the best thing is lift the ban on oil exports, 40-year ban on oil exports. That's good news. But there's a lot of bad news. Funds for President Obama's junk science gambits, check. That's in there. Sanctuary City funding, check. That's in there.
Funding for Planned Parenthood.
That's in there. Funding for refugees we can't vet, so saith the FBI Director James Comey. That's in there. Kind of a problem. I don't think this is going to be received well. In fact, it's already not being received well, like, for example, Senator Jeff Sessions from Alabama.
They elect people that they believe are going to take action to protect their security, their jobs, their wages, and what do they get? Bill that is worse than current law. Goes in the opposite direction. No wonder people are upset.
Matt Salmon, a member of the Freedom Caucus in the House, Republican from Arizona, had this to say about the deal.
I'm one of the founding members of the Freedom Caucus, and we're going to be putting forth an amendment that our members support, which will deal with the funding of Planned Parenthood, which will deal with the Syrian refugee vetting, and a couple of other things. And I think after we, try to get our amendments approved and made in order at the Rules Committee, we'll see exactly how that process is going to play out. I don't have real high expectations for how this is going to play out.
Yeah, low expectations. That seems to be where we need to keep our expectations when it comes to the Republican majorities in Congress. But let's see what Jed Babin's take is. Jed Babin, our friend from the Washington Times, joins us now. Jed, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to be with you guys.
So your take on the Ryan Compromise omnibus spending bill?
Gee, I thought John Boehner got out of there already.
There you go.
This is just another Boehner-ism. Ryan has completely failed to do what he promised to do, and the Freedom Caucus guys are suffering for it. They're going to try to do an amendment, as Matt Salmon said, but they're not going to get it. Boehner is, Ryan, or what the hell is the difference? Ryan Boehner, Ryan, whatever his name is, he's going to get enough Democrats to vote for it. It's going to pass. And the Republicans in the Senate are going to do their usual wimp routine, and it's going to pass there. So, done deal. Obama gets what he wants once again. It's really very pathetic.
Are you surprised by this, especially because Paul Ryan, smart guy, could obviously anticipate this is going to be the reaction from the conservative grassroots, from the Freedom Caucus, that he didn't drive more, particularly on something so salient at present like funding for refugees that everybody agrees we can't vet and everybody says we should pause?
Well, this is not a surprise at all. Paul Ryan's a very good guy. He's a very smart guy. He knows the numbers, the budget, and all the rest of that. But he's not a basic conservative, and he does not have the guts to face anything down with Obama. He just doesn't. So this is what you get. Boehner, Ryan, Boehner, whatever.
What about military spending? Is there an increase in that in this budget?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. I've been too busy being appalled at what Donald Trump said the other night.
Which part of it? Yeah.
Well, one thing that Donald Trump said, which is to try to target the wives and children of terrorist families, that's a war crime. It's condemned by the Geneva Convention. It's condemned under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and it is simply murder with respect to our laws. If any soldier followed that order, well, actually, any soldier would be entitled to not follow that order because it's an illegal order.
Right.
It conflicts with the laws of the United States of America, and thereby, frankly, is something that you have a duty to not obey.
Well, no.
So he's just being reckless.
Well, I don't care if he's being reckless or not. And the man wants to be president. He bloody well ought to know what he's talking about. And he bloody well ought to have some care to try to say, well, I'm going to just go and kill people like the terrorists do. That's what he's doing.
Do you think that he's being purposely vague and purposely imprecise, which he has on that issue, as well as a range of other issues? Because when he was asked that question and given time to develop it a little bit more in terms of his answer during the debate, he said, look, he basically intimated he's talking about co-conspirators. In San Bernardino, we know the mom was involved. Seems to me he's talking about people that are materially participating in the terrorist attacks, not indiscriminately killing extended family of terrorists.
But that's not what he said.
No, I agree. I agree.
He's got to be bound by his own words. It's interesting to say, look, it's a different situation. When the SEALs went into Abbottabad to get bin Laden, and one of bin Laden's wives apparently picked up a rifle and tried to shoot the SEALs, yeah, fine. She should have been shot, and she was.
Right. And
she was killed, and she had to have been killed. But that's a different situation totally than going out and doing what Donald is talking about and targeting individual families. That's just not what you do. It can't be done under American law. Again, it's a war crime. And if he pretends to want to be president, he'd bloody well better understand what he's talking about. Apparently he does not. Or if he does, he doesn't care, which is frankly worse.
How do you feel about what Governor Chris Christie said? Because he said he'd shoot down a Russian airplane if it was in restricted airspace. And that's when Rand Paul typed it. He's like, okay, then that will be the beginning of World War III.
Well, Rand Paul is a libertarian idiot, but that's a different story. The real problem, and I have no respect for him or his father, but the point really comes down to what Chris Christie said, presumes a strategy, which, if you want to do it, yeah, we can do it. If you want to risk taking on the Russians, maybe you have to do it. The fact of the matter is we can't solve the problem in Syria by just setting up a no-fly zone. The point is the Russians already have established a no-fly zone. We have so-called deconflicted our air operations so that we don't invade their airspace. The Russians have a no-fly zone. If you want to invade it, you want to take them on, okay, we can do that. But you have to understand the possible consequences, which could be a hot war with Russia.
What's your
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to defer to you. I just said, look, if you want to do that, we can do that. I'm not sure it's a wise play because I don't think all of Syria is worth it. As Bismarck once said of the Balkans, all of the Balkans are not worth the bones of a single Pomeranian grenadier. Well, I'll tell you, all of Syria is not worth the bones of a single American pirate.
So then you disagree with Senator Slim Pickens there from South Carolina that we should put 20,000 troops on the ground for some indeterminate period of time because that's the only way you're going to degrade and destroy ISIS?
Well, I disagree with him because of his approach. He's a neocon. He wants to do whatever his boss, John McCain, tells him to do. But I think at some point we're going to have to face up to the fact, as of last year, I was saying this is not our fight. Because Obama has let Syria go, because he let Iraq go, because he let all of this go, I think ISIS has now become the point where it's going to be our fight, partially. And if the Arab nations don't want to help, somebody's going to have to do something.
Speaking of Iraq, Defense Secretary Carter was in Baghdad yesterday, and the Prime Minister of Iraq said, no thanks, he doesn't want a greater U.S. presence, even to take back Ramadan. Do you think he'll change his mind eventually?
I don't think so. I think they've gotten as much help as they want from us. Don't forget, the government of Iraq is now dominated by the government of Iran. They are basically a satellite nation to Iran, and they are going to do what Iran tells them to do. So, sir, they don't want us in there. They don't want any more of us in there. And, they may turn down a lot of technical help, too. If they don't want attack helicopters to go after ISIS, they really just don't want to win the battle. So I think they're not really serious about it anyway. And their forces are clearly not capable of taking over Ramadi and a lot of the territory that we won at such great cost several years ago.
So what's your assessment? How sanguine should we be about this new coalition that Saudi Arabia has put together of Gulf states that are going to participate in trying to eradicate ISIS?
Well, we can't really say that it's focused on that, and we can't be sanguine about it at all. Look, you've got another instance where the Shia are being excluded from this coalition because they have to be, and the Sunni are being included, which I guess, according to religious law and religious lines, they have to be. This is another extension of the religious war that's been going on in the, in the Middle East between the Shia and the Sunni since they split apart from the main branch of Islam. So this is not a new war; it's a continuation of the same old war. And I don't think because the ISIS people are essentially a Sunni group, you're not going to see them act decisively against the ISIS threat. So we're going to have to do it.
We're talking to Jed Babin, Washington Times. So, Jed, seems to me one of the areas where there was general agreement among all the Republican candidates was that you have to take land away from ISIS so as to undermine the legitimacy of the caliphate. But you can't do that strictly with air power. Number one, do you agree with that? And number two, how do you do that if you don't deploy some U.S. soldiers?
Well, number one, I don't agree with it because they're not focusing on what the real issue here is. This is an ideological war. You and I, the three of us, have talked about this many times. Unless you attack their ideology, you can't win no matter how many bombs or how many troops you put in there, because whether ISIS pops back up again after we conquer it or whether some other group calling itself by some other name pops up, it's going to be the same result. That's what happened in Iraq. That's what happened. Well, we never really beat the Taliban in Afghanistan. This is a religious conflict. This is a religious ideology. These people are not motivated by a sense of nationalism or a desire to govern places. They are motivated by a religion or religious ideology that has to be defeated. If you're not willing to do that, you can't win no matter what you do. And the fact of the matter is, we've been spending between 2 and 5% of the combined air power of the Navy and the Air Force to try to so-called defeat ISIS. If we were really serious about this, that number would be like 80 or 85%, in which case you wouldn't need to put American troops on the ground.
Now let's move over to the San Bernardino investigation. The feds now are saying that Farouk and his wife, that there's no evidence that they were being directed by a terrorist group overseas. Are your sources saying anything differently?
No, and I defer to the FBI on this. This is the kind of thing that's going to happen. These people were not radicalized here. Some of them were in contact with, or at least the husband at least was trying to contact al-Nusra in Syria, which is an al-Qaeda spinoff, and al-Shabaab in Somalia, another al-Qaeda sort of brand, but we don't know that they have any direction from them. This is what happens, though. This is why you have to target the people, not target in the sense of getting their intelligence information and follow all these people. That's why, Ted Cruz may say that he has not weakened our intelligence capabilities by voting against the NSA metadata program, but that's simply not true. The senators and congressmen who voted for those bills, the amendments to the Patriot Act this summer, Section 215, they really have weakened us, And we have to get better intelligence, more intelligence tools, not lesser and weaker ones.
Well, what about the pushback in terms of provide an example where the metadata program has prevented a terrorist attack?
Well, you can't do that for the simple reason it's classified. But I have been told many times, many times, by people with clearance into that program, then I'm not even going to tell you who they were or where they were, but those people have assured me very clearly and very directly that there have been terrorist attacks interdicted because of that program. And if we had the data that now we're denied, who knows how many more attacks would be stopped. And right now, we're not getting that information.
Jed, I want to go back to one other thing in the debate that was a topic of a lot of back and forth among the candidates. That was the state of readiness of the military, particularly in terms of military hardware. A lot of talk about how old our planes are, how small our Navy is. Your former military, former Department of Defense, what's your assessment of that conversation about the need to upgrade and expand our military hardware and upgrade its readiness?
Well, clearly we have to do that. The question that I think was pointed to Marco Rubio is, what are you going to do first? The truth of the matter is this is going to take trillions of dollars. We're going to have to tackle it all at once because right now we've got people flying 75-year-old airplanes. The Navy is smaller than it's been since World War I. The Marines and the Army are smaller. We need to get back into this game. But the problem is, unless you have the right kind of planning surrounding a military strategy, you can't do it. So my solution, and forgive me for going on about this, but I've always written and said, and I've been doing this for years, we need a process like the defense guidance process in the Reagan administration. You take the best intelligence you have on the intentions and capabilities of your enemies, and you compare that with what you've got in the presidential toolbox. And from that, you derive a strategy to say, we need this, that, and the other thing to counter these threats, and then you go out and buy it. And it may take 25 years because we have not done this. We have not done this since the Reagan administration. That's why the weapons are so old. That's why they're so unready to fight. You're talking about tanks that were designed in the 1970s. You're talking about an F-35 right now that's coming up, a $400 billion aircraft that was beaten in a mock dogfight by an F-16, which first flew in 1972. We're not only not spending enough, we're spending what we are spending on the wrong things.
Well, very interesting. Jed Babin, great insights as always. Jed Babin, Washington Times, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
No sunshine today, just cloudy skies and cool temperatures. 31 degrees at O'Hare, going up to a high of 36 degrees. Tonight into the 20s we go. And tomorrow breezy with clouds, yielding to some sun by the afternoon. A high of 31. Travel times, how's the inbound Ryan shaping up, Jim Telemonte?
It's pretty heavy this morning, Amy. There was a problem early on, and it's never really recovered. We see a travel time of 38 minutes, 95th to downtown, so 95th most of the way in. The Kennedy's getting heavier, too, at 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Eisenhower, now an hour from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 37 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Lakeshore Drive northbound, it's a mess from Oakwood to the Stevenson, where a crash has 2 left lanes blocked. 30 minutes, 67th to Jackson. Southbound, slow from before Irving Park to Fullerton, and also from 18th to the Stevenson. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Hey guys, Christmas is coming. This year, go with a win-win. Give her something that will make her feel hot and heat up your holiday. The super warm, world-famous Hoodie Footy by Pajamagram. Because let's face it, it's hard to be hot when she's freezing cold. The Hoodie Footy is an ultimate solution. It combines the warmth of a hoodie with the coziness of footy pajamas. Remember those footy pajamas? Head-to-toe warmth means she'll be hot in no time.
I feel like I'm on the set of Boogie Nights.
Yeah, you can find all Hoodie Footy styles at pajamagram.com. Each Hoodie Footy has a drawstring hood. Perhaps most important, though, is the full zip front. Oh, yeah, imagine getting that open, especially if you opt for the sweet and sexy gift set. Includes a Hoodie Footy and a sexy midnight fantasy. Buy both today at pajamagram.com and you will save $60. You don't even have to wrap because every pajamagram includes free gift packaging. Christmas delivery is guaranteed. Visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. Make it a hoodie footy holiday and please tell them that Dan and Amy sent you.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure? Losing the family home? Well, you'd be not alone, so please listen to this. There are a lot of issues in a foreclosure, legal issues, factual issues. Dozens so far, and more coming to light every day. You see, people, we are in the aftermath of what will go down in history as the greatest financial crime in history, from which a lot of people profited immensely. And these people did not always do things entirely legally. That is a foregone conclusion. I'm Lou Bridges. I put together a law firm dedicated to foreclosure defense and to avoiding foreclosure by working with the banks, based on a thorough examination and analysis of all the potential issues and questions. And we have surrounded ourselves with people equally committed to this pursuit of justice.
Call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. Or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense firm and discover the legal tools at your disposal.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here. Christmas is coming fast. Last-minute gifts are hard to find. So, guys, here it is. Put your love in a locket with heartstrings customized lockets. It's super cool, a glass locket that opens to charms inside. Birthstones, initials, hobbies, sports. It's completely up to you. I've got birthstones in mind for my kids and a little microphone for the radio. It's something unique that captures her story in a locket. It's a home run Christmas gift. Or ladies, make one for yourself. Choose from over 900 unique charms. Go to one of 4 Heartstrings kiosks at Orland Square Mall and Yorktown Center, Lower Level Center Court, or Gurney Mills and Fox Valley Mall near Macy's. A locket specialist will be right there with you every step of the way. A heartstring customized locket. She wants it. Get it for her. Find them at Orland Square Mall, Yorktown Center, Fox Valley, or Gurney Mills, or online at yourheartstring.com. That's YOUR heartstring.com. Mention the promo code Amy and get a free charm.
AM 560, The Answer.
We have it all figured out. You're going to put on your hoodie footy pajama, put on your heartstrings locket, sleep on a My Pillow, and then he comes home from the Low T Center.
And
we've
then
combined them all.
Then after that, you're going to go to St. Timothy Lutheran Church and confess your sins.
Speaking of St. Timothy Lutheran Church of Lombard, they are one of our business benefactors this holiday season. We've teamed up once again with Feed the Children. What's raised here stays here. They help provide food and sundry items to local shelters and food pantries. And if you want to be a business backer, if you want to be one of the cool kids, do it today. Here's what you get. A $2,500 tax-deductible donation. All of the money goes to Feed the Children. And as a way of saying thanks, we will give you 40 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday right here, primetime on AM 560, The Answer. Not on the weekends. No, these will run Monday through Friday. Here's what you do. Call sales manager Michael Mann at 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. We have a long, long list here of business benefactors, and it grows every day. KG Auto Works, Midwest Siding Supply, Thulin and Associates, Euro Partners, Germ Busters, JCR Dedicated Trucking, just to name a few. So get on this list. Call Michael Mann now, 847-871-1527.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
American schools are mass-producing students who are not only largely ignorant of history, science, literature, and geography, but also unable to read, write, or add properly. Among the world's 34 richest countries, the U.S. is ranked 27th in math, 20th in science, and 17th in reading. America's educational crisis is no coincidence. Progressive education says that teaching children how to express themselves and get along with others is more important than teaching them facts or developing their ability to think rationally and independently. If you'd like to know more about the philosophical cause and solution of America's educational crisis, check out Teaching Johnny to Think, a philosophy of education based on the principles of Ayn Rand's objectivism by Leonard Peikoff at ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been A Moment of Objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
The Gun Safety Guy's mission is pure and simple: to help good people safely enjoy recreational shooting and improve their ability to protect themselves and their family responsibly. This is what Pastor Ed Bryant, a.k.a. the Gun Safety Guy, has built for you and your family. Pastor Bryant's background and experience enables him to communicate with all of his students, no matter what their age, gender, or ability. New shooters learn the fundamentals. Experienced shooters develop their skills. Above everything, all shooters are taught to value safety first. Family-friendly firearms instruction is the core of the Gun Safety Guy, and I know because I took his basic pistol class, which was excellent. So give the gift of firearm safety this holiday season. Gift certificates are available. Learn more at thegunsafetyguy.com. That's thegunsafetyguy.com. Family-friendly firearms instruction with NRA-certified instructor Pastor Ed Bryant. Thegunsafetyguy.com. And wait, there's more. 'Tis the season of giving, and also for New Year's resolutions. If someone you love would like to learn how to safely operate a firearm, visit thegunsafetyguy.com. There, you or your loved one can register for NRA-accredited classes, as well as the Illinois Concealed Carry class. Be caller number 4 to 312-642-5600 right now to win a $150 gift certificate towards a firearm class from the Gun Safety Guy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, one of our favorites, Colonel Alan West, will be here at 8:08. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a former museum employee charged with theft. Cook County authorities confirm remains match a missing Rockford boy. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Just like L.A. did 2 days ago, some kids in Indiana are told not to go to school today because of threats other cities are also getting, like Miami, where Fox's Evan Brown is live.
Dave, Danville and Plainfield, Indiana, both west of Indianapolis, have shut their schools due to threats received. Officials in Houston and Dallas and here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale are increasing security on campuses after receiving threats last night.
11:20 last night, we were at those schools with bomb dogs.
Dallas Schools Police Chief Craig Miller, the threats were not credible and schools in those cities are open. Disney will install metal detectors at theme parks in Florida and California, Dave.
Evan, a congressional committee is about to start a hearing into the government's vetting process for visas after San Bernardino killer Tashfeen Malik passed background checks coming here to marry her terrorist husband. Horror. A highway in Oklahoma where 2 people are dead. Fox's Jeff Manasso has details live.
Emergency calls poured in late last night of a man in a truck firing on multiple cars in westbound I-40. Another man and woman killed in the shooting spree, and later police pursuit that covered 4 counties. Custer County Sheriff Bruce Peoples calls it
random acts of violence and road rage.
The unidentified suspect, Dave, was apparently drunk and now awaits multiple other charges.
Jeff, Defense Secretary Ash Carter could face some Hillary Clinton-esque scrutiny over emails. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Defense Secretary Ash Carter has confirmed that he used his personal email account to conduct some of his professional correspondence during his first months on the job. Carter said that he occasionally used his iPhone to send messages to immediate staff, but stressed no classified information was involved. He called it a mistake and said that he has stopped the practice. Carter's actions violated a Pentagon policy that has been in place since 2012. Dave?
John, the day after a hung jury led to a mistrial in Baltimore, lawyers will meet with the judge to look into retrying police officer William Porter and Freddie Gray's death. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This morning, cloudy skies and 30 degrees. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Investigators from the U.S. Justice Department have begun their probe of police misconduct cases and how they're handled in the city of Chicago. AM 560's David Stewart has the rest of this story.
Investigators met with the leaders of the Chicago Police Department as the DOJ opens its probe that follows the police shooting of Laquan McDonald and the 400 days it took to bring charges in the case. Mayor Emanuel says he will meet with the feds as well.
And I'm committed to making sure that I use all my energy to not allow this issue to kind of be packaged with just some set of reforms so we, quote unquote, as a city can move on. That's not possible.
Emanuel said previous efforts to address police misconduct have never gotten to the core of the problem. David Stewart, Chicago.
A charter school company that runs 30 schools in Illinois, including 4 in the city of Chicago, suspected of steering federally funded contracts to insiders. Cloud-heavy Concept Schools of Des Plaines is named in federal documents investigating their award of $5 million in no-bid computer consulting to contracts tied to firms that are tied to Concept School officials. Concept Schools has ties to an influential Muslim cleric and to Democratic Party Chair and House Speaker Mike Madigan. Former worker with the Field Museum accused of pocketing close to $1 million from her employer. Karen Benson has been charged with theft and was in federal court yesterday when her arraignment was rescheduled for January 4. The Romeoville woman was fired from the Field Museum in April of last year after she confessed to the stealing. Bulls beat Memphis 98-85. Sox pull off a 7-player, 3-team trade and solidify third base just a bit by acquiring the Reds' Todd Frazier. The news service of Cabela's. Hurry in for Cabela's Christmas sale in Hoffman Estates and Hammond, Indiana. Shop Saturday, 8 a.m. doorbusters for amazing deals on all of your favorite brands, or get the gift that always fits, Cabela's gift cards. Don't miss the Cabela's Christmas sale. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, global stocks posting broad gains a day after the Fed raises its main interest rate for the first time in nearly a decade. The quarter-point hike seen as a vote of confidence in the U.S. economy. Switzerland's market supervisor has banned 6 former managers and traders at UBS AG from working in the sector for up to 5 years, punishment for their involvement in the manipulation of currency markets. General Mills reporting second quarter earnings of $529.5 million. That is in line with expectations. Revenue, though, a bit soggy for the maker of Cheerios and other packaged foods. $4.42 billion was below forecasts. And the VA has agreed to pay for robotic legs from Rewalk Robotics that could allow scores of paralyzed veterans to walk again. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dave Ramsey here. For the last 20-plus years, we've helped millions of people get their financial lives in order. And now, for the first time ever, we're bringing our Smart Money Tour to you. Financial expert Chris Hogan and I will be at Willow Creek Church on January 12th. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck or wondering what you're going to do when retirement comes around, don't miss this event. Get your seats today at DaveRamsey.com.
Sponsored in part by ImageOneChicago.com.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with 1 claim compared to Asurion total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
.807 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is jammed. 47th to the Stevenson, where there's a crash in the two left lanes. 40 minutes, 67th to Jackson. Southbound, there are heavy delays from Lawrence to Fullerton. Eden's Expressway, 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, up on 23. The Kennedy's a little better. 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, up on 32. In Mount Ike, 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, up on 37. To Stevenson, 56 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 38 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound heavy, 120 to 137. Northbound, 83rd to 31st and 290 to North Avenue. Adams Stolway stop and go Barrington to Beecham. Traffic service of Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites. A Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in Lettuce gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy and windy today and tonight, high 36 and a low tonight 24. Then still breezy tomorrow, clouds followed by some sun with a high 31. Then tomorrow night turning out clear and breezy with a low 19. Breezy with sunshine Saturday, high 33. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
31 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
This omnibus bill approves the president's request for increased refugee admissions. They elect people that they believe are going to take action to protect their security, their jobs, their wages, and what do they get? Bill that is worse than current law.
The feeling most people get when they hear Barack Obama's speech, I felt this thrill going up my leg.
The leg, is the thrill still there in the leg, or is it not? What's that?
Gonna help.
There's a movement going on, folks. This isn't just like, let's go and have a good time. Somebody said, oh, Trump's a great entertainer. That's a lot of bullshit. I'll tell you.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Believe me.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Oh boy, what a deal that Paul Ryan has put together. Let's get right to it. We're joined by Colonel Alan West. Colonel West, of course, was a member of Congress from Florida. He's moved on. I think he's moved to Texas.
Yes, he lives in Texas.
Where he is the president and CEO of the National Center for Policy Analysis and one of the more thoughtful and entertaining conservative voices in the landscape across the fruited plains. Colonel Alan West joins us now. Colonel West, thanks for joining us.
Well, good, and good morning, and Merry Christmas, Dan and Amy. How are you all doing?
Good. Merry Christmas. So you're a member of Congress. You've maybe at least seen the broad outlines of this compromise that was reached in the wee hours this morning. If you were a member of Congress, would you be supporting the compromise that Paul Ryan has put together with Democrats?
No, I would not, and I hate these omnibus spending bills because once again, we elected people to go up and do things by a regular order process. There are 12 appropriations bills that have to be passed to make sure that we are properly funding the government, and it just again shows the failure of this Congress, of the people that we elected, and it's a letdown for the folks who were consistently told, especially constitutional conservatives, if you give us control of the House and Senate, this is what we'll do, and this is what we get in return.
Well, what would you have changed in this budget deal when you're looking at it, and what funds go to what group? What would you do? What would you change?
Well, I mean, it got passed in the wee hours, so, I mean, I just saw it, finally hit, and there's a lot that I would have to go through. But, again, Amy, it just goes back to a regular order process. When I was up there as a member of Congress, I sent a letter over to the House Appropriations Chairman, Hal Rogers, about, the prioritization of our 12 appropriations bills. I never heard back from him. And so that is the most frustrating thing. It's not about, what parts and bits would I change. It's just about getting back to regular order and procedure, which, for whatever reason, the Congress of the United States of America just continuously fails to do so. And whenever something is passed in the wee hours of the night, that means it's not anything good for the American people, and that's just not how it should be done.
I just don't understand how the Republican establishment, Republican leadership, how they cannot connect the dots. On the one hand, they're deathly afraid that Donald Trump could be the party's nominee. On the other hand, the reason that Donald Trump, in my estimation, is as successful as he's been, the reason he's winning currently is because of Republicans who stand at the podium and decry Planned Parenthood and then fund it. Stand at the podium and rightly ridicule the junk science gambits of the President of the United States and then fund it. Stand at the podium and say, it's time to pause the refugee program because we have intelligence leaders that are saying we can't properly vet, so we've got to pause this, and then they fund it. And this is what drives Donald Trump, where he can potentially be the nominee on sentiment alone.
No, you're absolutely right. It is the emotionalism, and it is the anger of people that are tired of what they believe I'm being lied to. We were told last year after they won the election that they were going to not fund President Obama's executive order on the illegal immigration, which, as we now know, has been blocked several times by several different courts and is going to the Supreme Court. But yet, what did they do? They ended up appropriating the money for that to happen. So you're right. It does fuel this sentiment that Washington, D.C., Republicans, Democrats, they're against us, and especially in the GOP right now, the whole outsider thing. This is the reason why the outsider thing is very popular, because the people that you have up there in leadership are not trusted.
Why couldn't they have put a stipulation in the budget that Planned Parenthood will give you some funds, but in return you have to get out of the abortion business?
Look, this is the bottom line with Planned Parenthood, folks. This is a private sector, not-for-profit organization that is running $1 billion a year profit. Now, when I look at what's happening with our United States military, when we're saying that we're going to cut 40,000 active duty troops from the Army, you tell me if the right priority of our federal government is to send $535 million of American taxpayer resources to that type of organization and not go to what is supposed to be the priority of the federal government, is to provide for the common defense. That simple argument, no one can stand against that. And so why aren't these people up there in control of the House and Senate making that case?
Now, the Republicans who support this, including Paul Ryan, his leadership team, are suggesting a couple of things. One, that getting the embargo on exporting oil lifted is important. Okay, I can see that. I think it is. They're also saying that making some tax loopholes permanent will actually make it easier to overhaul the tax code next year because they've narrowed the list of breaks that should be protected. My head is spinning a little bit. So by tax breaks that included in this are from everything, according to Washington Times, everything from racehorses and film productions to NASCAR racetracks. So by making those special tax breaks, crony kind of breaks permanent, that somehow provides a glide path to comprehensive tax reform. Do you buy that argument?
No, I don't buy that argument. And again, that is part of, Paul Ryan talks about crony capitalism. You can call it government venture capitalism, whatever you wish. But again, it shows that we have a Republican Party that is in the majority that is not listening to the American people. The fact that they fought for the renewal of the Export-Import Bank after it hit sunset. Why is the federal government getting into the business of using taxpayer dollars to prop up certain private sector, large corporations and international business affairs? That we don't need those credit support type of agencies being run by the federal government. And you're absolutely right. If we're serious about the tax code and reforming the tax code, we don't need 7,000 pages that people don't understand. We don't need all these special interest, K Street loopholes that people are going up there advocating for. The most important exemption for me would be charitable contributions, because I want the American people to start taking care of American people and not creating and expanding this dependency society. But again, this is a Republican Party that is not getting the message, and therefore what you see happening in this primary is a reflection of the fact that they are no longer trusted.
We're talking to former Florida Congressman Colonel Alan West, now the president and CEO of the National Center for Policy Analysis. During the debate on Tuesday night, back and forth between Ted Cruz and Rubio, Rand Paul, Chris Christie, on the issue of the metadata program and whether it should be narrowly tailored to really focus on terror suspects, or whether it should be broad, give broad powers and broad tools to the intelligence community to narrow it as they see fit based on the information they're able to accrue. Where do you come down on that?
It's very simple. It's narrow tailoring. And I'll give you a case in point. When we were overseas in Iraq, and I was a battalion commander there, we came to understand, looking at trends and indicators and warnings, that the people that were going out, conducting attacks and laying out IEDs in the middle of the night were folks that are getting on these motorbikes, 2 to 3 people on a motorbike, and so what we did was we put in restrictions after, a curfew. Because we want to focus on that. We were not focused on people driving around in minivans, because we didn't see that being the case. So why do we need to have this broad net cast over the American people? Because we want to play a game of political correctness. Tashfeen Malik was able to come into the United States of America on this K-1 fiance visa, and her social media was not even checked. So what does that tell you?
Well, now they have listen to this, like a pilot program right now to check people who apply for K-1 fiance visas. Why don't they just go full-born, even get interns? I mean, have these young kids who know how to work the internet so well, have them review the social medias of these people applying for fiance visas.
Well, again, that shows the incompetence of the federal government. Carla Fiorina brought it out as far as the technology aspect. But, we have the anonymous hacker group that is doing more against ISIS than the federal government is. And when you talk about narrowly focusing our resources, look what President Hollande has done in France in response to what happened with the Paris attacks. He's gone in and found these, hate-mongering rhetoric and hateful rhetoric inspiring mosque and clerics in France. He's closed them down. Now, that's what I'm talking about in narrow focus. But if you tried to do that, then you'd have a group like the Council for American Islamic Relations, which is nothing but a front group for the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas, screaming, Islamophobia and everything. And that's what we have to get beyond.
What's your view on troops in Syria and Iraq as support for this Arab coalition that's been put together by Saudi Arabia, such as it is, still in the early stages to figure out what that's really going to mean. But Lindsey Graham has called for as many as 20,000 American soldiers on the ground in the Middle East. So where do you come down on that?
Well, first of all, I get sick and tired of politicians throwing out numbers. It's not the business of a politician or a pundit or anyone to throw out a number as far as what is required. What they need to do is specify to military strategists and planners what's their desired in-state effects. Do they want to destroy them? Do they want to defeat? Do they want to degrade? I hear all of these words thrown all over the place. Each one of those words has a separate meaning. During Desert Shield, Desert Storm, we had a ground force, and we did have an Arab coalition force. I remember seeing Syrian tanks, not too far from our base of operations in the desert. So we can build that type of coalition, but they need to know that we can be trusted. Right now, no one trusts President Obama and his words, because he says he's sending 50 special operators in, but yet they won't be on the front lines, and yet they're not supposed to get engaged in a firefight with ISIS. So that's doublespeak. So they need to see someone that is resolute. They need to see someone that is committed. And yes, we can take the leadership role, and they will follow. Egypt will follow with President El-Sisi. Jordan will follow. The Kurds definitely will follow and stand up. But they need to know that they're not going to be hung out to dry.
It was reported per President Obama's meeting at the Pentagon the other day that some of his advisors suggested that the fight against ISIS is a 15 to 20 year proposition. Do you agree with that assessment?
No, I don't, because, again, I go back and think about what we were able to do in 60 to 90 days against the Taliban, which was approximately a 60,000-man force in 2001 after the September 11th attacks. We routed them. We didn't seal the deal, and they were allowed to escape over to Pakistan, but we had them trapped up in the Tora Bora Mountains, and we could have, destroyed the Taliban. And look at what is happening today. We're still dealing with the Taliban, and now we have ISIS becoming operationally emerging. I think that was the terminology in Afghanistan as well.
Yeah, that's right.
We are not eradicating the enemy. And anytime you fight combat operations by half measures, you're going to have residual effects, and that's what we see happening.
He is Colonel Alan West, former Florida congressman, now the president and CEO of the National Center for Policy Analysis. Colonel West, thanks always for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, and I look forward to being with you all, if not the remainder of this year and the new year.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thanks, Colonel West. Quickly get...
not so merry man.
Right.
Hey-o.
Let's get pretend Colonel Sean from Elmwood Park.
I tell you, this is a great show, as always. Great interviews. Alan West, love him, big fan. But you had Jeb Bibbin on, and he was talking about Paul Ryan and saying everything I want to say, saying everything we all feel, that he has really betrayed us. He has undermined us. He has promised to be a representative of our needs and gets into power and turns everything into the money laundering scheme we have. And then he insulted libertarianism, which I clearly see myself becoming. Because what I've come to realize is, what's the opposite of libertarianism? I think it's cute that we pretend we have a representative government. Have you ever tried to call one of these morons? Have you ever tried to call your lowly countyman? You don't see them, because what you have when you don't have libertarianism is you have masters and you have the people who are ruled by those masters. So what we need to do is, I want to remove Paul Ryan right now. Recall Ryan, get him out of there, and put somebody in there who understands we are to be a representative government. Let's tear it all down. No parliamentary, no money for scumbag donors. Let's start all over again.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Thick cloud coverage throughout the day. Will be windy, cooler. 32 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 36 degrees. Tonight, a low in the lower 20s. Ouch. And tomorrow, it'll be breezy with clouds, yielding for some sun, a high of 31. Let's get the travel times. How's that inbound Kennedy doing, Jim Talamonte?
Amy, you'll be happy to hear it's improved a little bit since our last report. We still have significant delays from Lawrence to the Burns Circle, 45 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 33 from Montrose, and 27 on the Express. Outbound, 32 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Edens, 22 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. Eisenhower's 55 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 37. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound fine. The Ryan, that's the Dan Ryan, not the Paul. 38 minutes from 95th to downtown. It's been heavy all morning. Lakeshore Drive northbound, a mess. 47th to the Stevenson with a crash on the left shoulder. Southbound, stop and go Lawrence to Fullerton. Northbound Tri-State, it's slow, but not too bad from Archer to 31st. And as usual, slow from 290 to North Avenue. Adams Tollway heavy, Barrington to Meacham. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
I love my pillow so much, I can't live without my pillow. But don't take it from me, take it from Chuck.
It seems to conform to your head and neck, and when you're laying there, you don't have to keep moving it to try to get a comfortable spot. You just put your head down and out you go.
It's really great. Plus, it's washable, and it keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. Helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies. And right now, we still have the buy one, get one free offer. But, folks, that is not going to last forever. So buy one, keep one for yourself, give one as a gift for the holiday season. Go to mypillow.com, type Amy in the promo code. Plus, you'll get a 60-day full money-back guarantee. So basically, you can try MyPillow risk-free. You have nothing to lose and could be enjoying your best sleep ever. American-made, the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, mypillow.com. Type Amy in the promo code or call 800-489-4669. 0201.
Too high. Your property taxes are too high. Illinois has the second highest property tax rate in the country, a burden that unfairly penalizes people like you. Why does Illinois have the second highest property tax rate in the country? Because elected officials spend too much money. Year after year, lawmakers promise to freeze the property tax rate. They make false promises at election time and fail to get the job done. The result? Property tax rates go up and up. It's time to force the politicians to keep their promise to voters. Join Americans for Prosperity in the fight to freeze property taxes. Go to afpil.org to start a tax freeze petition in your community. Go to afpil.org to put the brakes on runaway property taxes. If you're sick and tired of ever increasing property taxes, do something about it. Go to afpil.org, paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. The holidays are now upon us. Do you want to give the gift that keeps on giving? Of course you do. How about giving yourself a healthier life and more energy to do the things you want to do with family and friends? If you've been feeling like a grumpy old man lately, it's time to get your testosterone level checked at Low T Center. I did. Quick, easy, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results in minutes. Plus, their services are covered by most health insurance. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy and can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. Low T Center even has convenient and flexible hours. So give yourself the gift that keeps on giving this December. Call Low T Center now and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Call today, 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305, or go to lowtcenter.com.
We're here reporting live from Santa's workshop. Santa, thanks for taking time in the busiest season of the year.
Oh, we stay busy all year round.
How do you stay so busy without getting sick?
That's easy. My elves and I take balance of nature.
Balance of nature? What's that?
Using the magic of modern technology, Balance of Nature has taken whole fruits and vegetables and stuffed them into little capsules.
And they keep you healthy?
Works for me. What do you think, Gimbal?
Well, I take it, and I haven't had a sick day in over 3,000 years.
So make sure to stuff your stockings with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies.
There you have it from the man himself. Stuff your stockings with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies to stay healthy all year round. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO to get a free stocking stuffer with your first order.
Have a Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Mike Rowe takes on knucklehead Bernie Sanders.
Plus, the Trumpster is back, and he was on Jimmy Kimmel Live. There's a new book out, and we'll have excerpts. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. The day after the Federal Reserve raised interest rates. In a sign of confidence, they say, in the economy, there's more evidence today a strong job market is in flow. Fewer applying for unemployment. Those applying for jobless benefits dropped by 11,000, according to the Labor Department. What next? Lawyers in the trial of one of 6 Baltimore police officers charged in the death of Freddie Gray will meet with the presiding judge later today and talk about a possible retrial.
They did the best that they could. We are hopeful that Ms. Mosley will retry Officer Porter as soon as possible and that his next jury will reach a verdict. Once again, we ask the public to remain calm.
A Porter family attorney, a judge declared a mistrial in that case yesterday. Officials in western Oklahoma say 2 are dead after a man drove through 3 counties on I-40, firing randomly from his pickup truck. Several vehicles were struck by gunfire early today. The accused shooter surrendered to police. School officials in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Houston are saying they're open for business this morning following terror threats similar to ones made against school districts in Los Angeles and New York City. The threats were made last night, but they're being called less than credible. However, 2 central Indiana school districts have canceled classes after officials said threats were made against their schools in Danville and nearby Plainfield community schools. Investigators from the U.S. Justice Department have begun their probe of a police misconduct case, and now on how they are handled here in the city of Chicago. Meantime, Mayor Emanuel continues to have to deal with citywide protests from the fallout of the police-involved Laquan McDonald shooting. At a press event yesterday at Urban Prep Academy, several students began shouting 16 shots. The mayor later commenting to reporters he understands the outburst and people are frustrated. A former worker with the Field Museum is accused of pocketing close to $1 million from her employer. Karen Benson has been charged with theft and was in federal court yesterday when her arraignment was rescheduled to January 4th. Chicago sports, NBA, Bulls over Memphis, 98-85. College hoops, Illinois State a winner over UIC. Minnesota topped Chicago State. Northern Illinois, the Huskies fell to Ohio State, 67-54. The news service of Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites, a Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher isn't so sure the president's strategy in ISIS will work.
Isn't it reasonable that if somebody's on the no-fly list, they shouldn't be allowed to buy a gun? That's the kind of stuff that's going to defeat ISIS, isn't it? Now, that's what I call prioritizing. Holy cow. Lord help us.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen or bath with Galaxy and get free installation, free design, and free financing. Call Galaxy at 773-783-8300 or schedule online at galaxyhome.com.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
Hi, I'm Vito Parisi, president of the STM Group, Transportation Advisors for shippers across North America. My wife and I have refinanced 4 times with Barry and Townstone, and no cost for every refi, and his team of appraisers, processors, very professional. We just really love the personalized service and the no-cost service of the refi, and highly recommend Barry and Townstone.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage license C 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Hi, I'm Joan London. If you're looking for senior care for your mom or dad like I was, call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. Their local advisors will explain your options and help you select senior living communities at no cost to you.
To speak with your local senior care advisor, call A Place for Mom, 1-800-379-1174. That's 1-800-379-1174.
There's a place for answers, a place for mom.
8:35, we're seeing several media reports and an Associated Press report about the evacuation of portions of Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. The Marine base is being evacuated in part near the Marine Corps Exchange, near where the Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts are on that base. Bomb threats were called in this morning around 7:30. Bomb-sniffing dogs are on the scene, according to Camp Lejeune's Facebook page, and we'll keep you updated on that story as developments are available. Meantime, let's get into the ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center and the very latest this morning with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens is pretty light inbound. You've got a 2-minute delay from Foster to the junction. Outbound, it's now clear. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Lawrence, 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 32. The Eisenhower is 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 42 from Manheim. Outbound 37 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 56 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. It's clear outbound. Orion, 38 minutes. 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive. Southbound slow Lawrence to Fullerton. Northbound 47th to 18th after a crash. On Tri-State Heavy, Archer to 31st and 290 to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial southbound stop and go 290 to Lake Street. Crash the 2 left lanes. Southbound 53 delays start at Feasterfield. Northbound Heavy 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Cloudy, windy, and much colder today. High 36. Currently 31 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Townstone Financial, Chicago's premier mortgage lender. Visit townstone.com or call Barry Sterner, 312-896-2110.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So Mike Rowe, you know Mike Rowe from narrating Deadliest Catch, Dirtiest Jobs.
And he started on the QVC and worked his way up to those prominent shows.
Yeah.
Now he does Ford commercials.
He does, among other things. He's responding to something that knucklehead, as he terms him, generously, I might add, knucklehead Bernie Sanders said. Bernie Sanders in... you all right over there? We got to clean up.
I just
over there?
dropped something.
Yeah.
Now I hope I don't Harold Washington myself, and when I go to pick this up, I come back up, okay? Okay, I'm going down now. See you later.
Okay.
All right, I'm still here.
All right.
Head rush. Okay.
Okay, all right. Everything's right with the world again.
Yes.
Okay. Back to Mike Rowe and Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has proposed a free college for all Americans. Free meaning other people pay for it. And the reason is, Bernie Sanders said, we should pay for college. We should all pay for everybody else's college. The government should pay for college because it's cheaper than incarceration, suggesting that you either get a college degree or you go to the slammer. Here's what Mike Rowe wrote in a Facebook post the other day in response. And this is important not just to dismiss an effete socialist like Bernie Sanders, but because of the constituency this underscores. Mike Rowe wrote, I wonder sometimes if the best way to question the increasingly dangerous idea that college education is the best path for the most people is to stop fighting this sentiment directly and simply shine a light on the knuckleheads, Bernie Sanders, who continue to perpetuate this nonsense. He goes on, Rowe does, is it possible that Senator Sanders doesn't realize the number of college graduates with criminal records or that should have criminal records? Yeah, that's my little parenthetical remark. Is he unaware of the millions of successful tradespeople and entrepreneurs who didn't pay for a sheepskin but somehow managed to stay out of the clink? The truth, in my opinion, is this. There is no alternative for an education and no hope for a person who doesn't want to learn something useful and apply it. But there are many, many alternatives to college, and none of them come with a prison sentence. See, what this is really underscoring is the Trump vote, because Bernie Sanders and the other socialists of the left have jettisoned middle working income level people. They're out of the party, especially white ethnic types, especially the trade folks. They're out. They don't care. That's not part of their 50% plus one coalition in the Obama age. And Republicans have failed to fully embrace them, to Red Rover them over into the party, to bring them in after the Democrats dispatch them. Mitt Romney failed to do it in 2012. It's why he lost the election. So this constituency, which turns out to be pretty sizable, is out there for the taking. And you know who's taking it? Donald J. Trump. That's who's taking it. He is talking to the 2/3 of this country that doesn't have a college degree and is sick of elites across the board. Remember Victor Davis Hanson's really on-point formulation on Trump. Trump is basically saying all these elites in media and academia and government, I know them all, and they're even worse than you think. So the billionaire, the multi-billionaire, is the guy that a lot of working middle-income families see as standing on their side of the skirmish line, fighting out against the elites who've diminished their quality of life. And if the Republican establishment doesn't get what Mike Rowe gets, and frankly what Donald Trump gets, at least in terms of sentiment, then they're not going to get rid of Donald Trump anytime soon, number one. And number two, they're not going to be winning national elections anytime soon either.
No, and Donald Trump, the USA Today did a great piece. They sent a reporter to a Walmart store, and 90% of the Walmart employees who are registered to vote back Donald Trump. So they wrote this fascinating article about how the middle class and the working class of this country are backing Donald Trump. And it's because he does make strong statements that they can embrace, such as yesterday when he was in Arizona.
There's a movement going on, folks. This isn't just like, let's go and have a good time. Somebody said, oh, Trump's a great entertainer. That's a lot of bullshit. I'll tell you. We have a message. And the message is we don't want to let other people take advantage of us.
And what I said yesterday, I still stand by. He may not be the smartest person when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to education policies, but I think that he will surround himself with people who know what to do.
Perhaps.
Or is that crazy? Because I'm warming up to Donald Trump and I'm scaring myself.
It's difficult to know. I mean, it's really difficult to know. He has this intuitive sense of where the zeitgeist is, and he seizes on it effectively. And, frankly, talking like a three-dimensional human being rather than a one-dimensional politician is to Trump's benefit. So when we say, oh, I'm just this guy, they're full of it. They're full of bull jive, as I might say. He chose the more colorful iteration. And, people respond to that. That's how regular people talk about bull jive.
Yeah.
Well, about bull jive, too, about someone trying to get one over on them. And, the ruling class politicians think people are so dumb and they can, continue to snow them on issues like spending and national security and what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, lecture them like it's not about public representatives of their interests, but ruling elites telling them what they will and will not do, how they will and will not live their lives. And Trump is basically saying they can all go to hell.
Yeah, and after the debate the other night, Donald Trump sat down with Chris Matthews, your favorite guy from MSNBC, and Donald Trump really manhandled him, I think, because Chris Matthews kept saying, is it true you say Barack Obama isn't a legitimate president? Will you answer the question? And Donald Trump said, I'm not going to answer that question because then everyone's going to be focusing on that. Move on. And he wouldn't move on, so Donald Trump just got up and left.
Did you have a good time? Was it a good interview?
What, this? Well, I want you for a longer time, but thank you, Mr. Trump.
We'll do it again. I would love
Trump,
to.
I do think that's a blemish. I think it's your original
No, I know
sin.
how you feel.
I think because I'm an American, I think our president should be respected.
I understand.
And I
know
think
how
there's
you-
a little ethnic aspect to it. I don't like it.
Okay, well,
he's African American, and we're saying he's not a real president. I don't like that. It's not a good thing about you.
All right. Well,
But you're a mixed bag.
We'll just keep quiet.
I am
on that.
allowed to say you're a mixed bag.
I understand.
Thank
Have
you.
a good
Thank
time.
you for
Thank you
coming
very
over
much.
here. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care of yourself.
We'll have you for an hour. We'll go back to Penn.
We'll do it.
We'll go to
Let us-
Wharton.
We'll do it on the
We'll pay
stage.
for the whole thing.
The cathedral, right?
That's right.
So
Thank
long,
you,
Chris.
Mr.
You take
Trump.
care of yourself.
Thank you.
Great
Hey,
show.
Come here. Robert.
I love it. I mean, he basically just patted Chris Matthews on the head. What's the point of getting into a row with Chris Matthews?
Any question is
he's
conspiracy
irrelevant.
theory about whether the president was born in Kenya or Hawaii and all that.
Let me
And Donald Trump's like, I'm not talking about that.
Let me tell you a story about Donald Trump I just heard the other day from a friend of mine. In Florida, his father was sick. He was dying. They needed to rent a house. They wanted to rent a house near where they were in West Palm, and a ranch, one level, because he was incapacitated substantially. So they talk to this realtor. Well, Donald Trump owns this house that you want to rent. And so, okay, but they never met Trump. Never met him before they rented the house. Never met him after they rented the house. They rent the house. Father has a seizure. My friend's father has a seizure. He's hospitalized. 2 days after he's hospitalized, 3 dozen roses sent to that hospital room from Donald Trump.
Wow.
Just a guy renting some house. I'm sure it was a nice house. Great house.
Yeah.
The best house.
The best
whatever.
house. The biggest house.
But the biggest. But Trump even Jeb Bush he's a skilled politician. And I think what Jeb was underscoring is that Trump does rub a lot of people the wrong way, but at a very personal level, he's good.
He's human. Yeah,
he's
got a big heart. He does. I mean, I never knew about what he did for Jennifer Hudson when her mother and her nephew were shot. He whisked them away right away and said, "You're staying in a secure area. You're staying at the Trump Hotel." And just to get her out of the neighborhood and to keep her safe.
Well, I think,
and he didn't seek publicity for that, nor did he ask her to, go on Twitter or Facebook and mention it.
Well, frankly, for different reasons, I actually am in the uncomfortable position of agreeing with Chris Matthews. Donald Trump is a mixed bag. I mean, I still think, the Carnival Barker stuff is not my cup of tea, but I guess we're all mixed bags, and so I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. Vince in Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas. And great show.
Thank you.
Quick question. First of all, I have to ask you guys a question. What makes anybody think Donald Trump will surround himself with anybody who he'll even listen to? You see how he handles the biggest, the best, and the brightest that are even on stage with him, his own party and his own people. And you can't tell me that there aren't a couple of bright people up there. He insults them. He doesn't listen to them. He bullies them.
They may be adversaries now, but he will seek their advice and he'll put them in cabinet positions.
He won't listen to anybody, Jamie. He's a bully and a hothead. And I like him and I'm going to support him, but for different reasons than you guys do. I think he'll be the closest thing to libertarian I'll ever have in my life.
Really? Thanks for the call, Vince. Wow,
Thanks, Vince. And my name's Amy.
That's an interesting perspective. The whole who he surrounds himself with, that is kind of an open question for me as well. Joel and McHenry. Hey, Joel.
Hi, Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas.
And I think that, when Paul Ryan was first coming into the system there to be the speaker, he was a clean-cut guy. But now all of a sudden he's growing a beard, and I think that beard is affecting his brain.
Thanks for the call, Joel. Kevin in Northfield.
Hey, Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
A friend of mine's daughter works for Trump, Asian gal. Her story is that everybody who works there loves the guy. He expects long hours. He's not the highest paying employer, but he gives bonuses, and he gives Christmas bonuses, and he gives birthday, and he focuses on the employees. He treats them as they're important. The opposite of this you're fired kind of business. That's all an act, she says. And so she respects the guy as an employer, which, as we know in life, a lot of us think we're smarter than the employer. She thinks the guy's great.
Interesting.
Second comment she says is the kids are great.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Kevin. The kids
are they're wonderful on television.
They're definitely squared away. They seem pretty squared away. Apparently did a pretty nice job raising his kids.
They didn't drive Ferraris or Bentleys.
Along with his ex-wives. Joey in Tinley Park.
It's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. Just once, I'd like to see an honest election and really see what the country feels like. I'd even go along and get my finger inked. That sounds like a great idea.
Thanks for the call, Joey.
Don't hurt yourself.
The Iraq free and fair elections reference. Jerry on the Northwest Side.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I want to agree with Amy. I don't believe that Donald Trump is the smartest man in the room, but he will surround himself with the people that are. I think that's the biggest problem with President Obama's administration is that he's such a narcissist. He's going to prove to everybody that he is the smartest man in the room. And by going against what the military brass, the generals say how to solve this problem, he says, "No, that's okay. I got this, guys." And he just totally disagrees and does things his way instead of taking the advice of the people whose advice he should be listening to.
Thanks for the call, Jerry. Mac in Griffith, Indiana.
Yeah, the reason that you got to vote for Trump is Paul Ryan just gave us a perfect example of it. He just sold us out on immigration, on the Syrians. He sold us out on this green energy debacle, and he sold us out on what he's doing with this other stuff that just went through this budget. You got to put Trump in because Paul Ryan is just like every dope on that stage except for Trump and Carson. You got to get him in there. He's the only thing that can save our country.
That's all I got to say, and Merry Christmas.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Mostly cloudy today. It will be windy, a lot colder than we're used to. Definitely take that jacket with you, maybe a hat and gloves when you leave. High of 36 degrees, 32 right now at O'Hare. Tonight into the 20s we go, and tomorrow breezy. Clouds yielding for some sunshine by Friday afternoon. A high of 31 degrees. How's the inbound Kennedy, Jim Telemonte? I know some people who are going to be on that very soon.
Well, you'll be happy to hear it's getting better. Slowly, but getting better. Delays now start at Montrose. It's 41 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown. It was 45. 31 minutes from Montrose. Express lanes are a tad heavier. The Ohio feeder's backed up. Outbound just a 7-minute delay from Montrose to Sayre. Eden's just a 2-minute delay approaching the junction, and outbound it's fine. Eisenhower, an hour and 4 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 44 minutes from Manheim. The delays are primarily on southbound 53. It's jammed Beesterfield down to Lake Street on 355, where 2 left lanes are blocked with a crash. The inbound Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. And on the drive, slow southbound Montrose to Fullerton, northbound 31st to 18th.
And the primary work is to make sure.
Deals.com Traffic Center.
This Christmas, give the people on your list the gift of a holiday happiness. Rich chocolatey brownies from Vermont Brownie Company. Oh, yeah, featuring decadent flavors like dark chocolate with a touch of sea salt, buttery maple toffee, and walnut chunk. They're ridiculously good. Surprise and delight your loved ones with some of the best brownies they'll ever taste. They're baked using farm-fresh ingredients. That's pure bliss in every bite. To order and save 10%, use code 2000. Your gift comes specially packaged with a free personalized gift card. What are you waiting for? To give a sweet gift for under $20, use promo code 2000 at checkout at vermontbrownie.com. So go to vermontbrownie.com, promo code 2000, and save 10%. Christmas delivery guaranteed. Hurry, because this offer ends soon.
I've been taking it, and I'm actually feeling better. I know that I'm not coughing anymore, and I was coughing all the time.
I notice my body feels better.
I have diabetes. I had my blood work done, and I had really good numbers.
I want to thank you for your product and all that. It's been great.
I got my kids taking them now. I got my parents taking them. My brothers, my best friends. I got everybody on them.
I love the product, and I love Dr. Howard. I trust him. I feel safe. I think his product is superb. I'm going to continue with it.
Get started early on your New Year's resolution with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
This is Amy Jacobson. I'm excited to tell everybody who's considered buying a MyPillow but hasn't that now with the buy one, get one free offer, you'll also get a 60-day money-back guarantee. Basically, you can try MyPillow risk-free. You have nothing to lose and could be enjoying your best sleep ever. What are you waiting for? It is so important to get a great night's sleep. MyPillow helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies, and more. Plus, it's washable and keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer and 60-day money-back guarantee, visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Please use the promo code Amy. Do it now. This offer is for a limited time. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy. 800-489-0201.
This is Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you in part by the Illinois Opportunity Project. 97. That's the percentage of Chicago Teachers Union members who voted yes in a recent mock vote. Yes, they voted. They are prepared to go out on strike for the second time in 4 years. The annual average CPS teacher salary is just under $80,000. And that's before before you include their health insurance benefits and guaranteed 7-figure pensions. The bankrupt, junk-rated Chicago public schools spend more than $15,000 annually per pupil, and yet 75% of 4th and 8th graders are neither proficient in reading nor math. This in a system of nearly 400,000 students. So who's the bad guy here? Is it the teachers union or the mayor's office? Yes, there are no white hats in the story of central planners from City Hall fighting with the central planners from the teachers union over who gets to be the lead central planner at CPS. If the teachers strike, they deserve to be unlocked from their jobs. CPS students deserve access to schools that will give them the opportunity to earn an education that sets them on a course for success in life. The only way that happens is if the adults inside CPS, the parents, and the adults outside CPS, state political leaders, change the flow of money away from central planners and to families so that they may make the same choices for their children that Tiny Dancer did for his kids matriculating at the University of Chicago Lab School. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
Guys and gals, take a quick look in the mirror. See those bags under your eyes? Well, imagine them gone. And there's 1 week left for the Chamonix holiday sale. So now's the time to get rid of those bags and puffiness under your eyes safely and naturally. Introducing Genucell plant stem cell therapy for bags and puffiness under the eyes. My sister uses it every day in the morning and at night. I have to tell you, her skin looks fantastic. It's glowing. There's firmness and her bags are gone. And with its instant effects, which is a separate product, you'll see results in the first 12 hours, guaranteed, or your money back. But don't wait. This crazy sale will only be around for 1 more week. Order now, and you'll also get the legendary Esotique face cream as a free gift. Call 800-525-8323. Give the gift of healthy skin. 800-525-8323. That number again, 800-525-8323.
My brother Chris is allergic to talking about retirement. Bring up his future and you'll get glazed eyes and awkward answers. Don't believe me? Let's try it. Chris, when will you retire?
Ha! You darn right I like nachos.
See what I mean? Chris, do you have a retirement account?
It's gotta be the right kind of cheese.
One last time. Are you ever going to retire?
And don't forget jalapenos. I love jalapenos.
Good for you, buddy.
Avoiding the retirement conversation? At the Mutual Fund Store, we get it, and our advisors are here to help. Whether you're storing 401k statements in a shoebox, can't tell a traditional from a Roth IRA, or include piggy bank as one of your retirement accounts, there are no judgments here. We'll simply sit down with you one-on-one, talk about where you're at, and help you put a plan in place to get you where you want to be tomorrow. Let's get the conversation started today with a free consultation.
Hi, I'm Steve Check with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. They really are just like your original ones. What you probably don't know is that not all implants are the same quality, and there are a lot of unqualified people doing implants.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one. I was happy with it. So I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth, and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. He'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
Thanks so much for listening, for making us a part of your morning. To David Stripling and Cesar Perez. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Bulls win their 4th straight in a victory over the Grizzlies. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony.
You can see why we're scared to death that this administration, the Department of Homeland Security, the State Department, is not protecting the American people.
Republican